歡迎大家收睇拍一日拖。
好啊，我哋即刻轉咗啊嘛，成件事。
轉咗拍一日拖。
係我哋
睇，歡迎大家收睇拍一日拖。
好啊，我哋即刻轉咗啊嘛，成件事。
轉咗拍一日拖。
係我哋而家可以加埋啲落雨啊咁嘅氣氛。我哋而家可以加埋啲落雨啊咁嘅氣氛。
我揸機 ，OK。
你揸機得唔得㗎
？cut 咗喺你嘅頭有啲。
係我錯，我比較高少少。
唔係。
我頭先聽到你講一句咧，我會諗㗎，即係你話去做 IV show。你覺得 IV show？你覺得 IV show？蘇雅林之間個距離係咪都遠唔遠？之間個距離係咪都遠唔遠？
我本身覺得唔遠嘅，呢樣嘢係我最近都好掙扎嘅位，係掙扎到我有陣時有啲會夜晚會喺度喊咯。我就有啲好 confuse 呢樣嘢，因為我覺得蘇雅林其實係我做自己嘅時候，但係原來做自己嘅時候都會有啲人覺得嗰個味係最真嘅，咁我就諗緊，其實可能真係可以再畫多啲自己，
Hi， 我係艾力啊！今日嘅 Have a Nice Day 約嘅呢一位女嘉賓咧，佢係好旺㗎。佢除咗人氣好旺之外咧，對我都好旺啊！因為我之前咧係啱啱即係個 YouTube 水位啦，過10萬訂閱嗰下咧，就係多得佢條片，哇！咁所以咧，今日咧，我覺得我要好好咁樣對佢啦，慰勞下佢啦。咁啊，第一件事咧就先同大家講啦，佢係出咗最新單曲，淨係得佢介紹。並且同時，我今日係想請佢食啲嘢，不過我唔知佢食唔食得嘢咧。而家
Hello，
今日我嘅靚女嘉賓又約到 Ivy 啦。
你好啊，又出現啦。
今日咧，我哋而家係要準備同陽光玩遊戲。你係 OK 中意陽光嘅？
我中意陽光嘅，但係其實我喺 Collar 入邊係出名嘅雨神嚟嘅。所以我都幾 surprise 今日嘅天氣竟然咁好。
頭先你同事都咁講啊，佢就話之前同你幾次做嘢都係落雨㗎。係，即係我俾自己有個小任務在先嘅。我係諗住要好好慰勞下你少少嘢嘅，請你食翻少少嘢嘅。因為上次我係好多得你咧，就嚟個衝力射球咧，係將我嘅訂閱人數一嘢踢咗上10萬上面。
哇 ！Congratulations！
Yes， 冇錯。所以其實無論點樣都好，最終起腳嗰個就係 Ivy， 冇錯。
唔使客氣。
所以佢係 MVP 嚟嘅。咁所以今日我就諗住點樣都好，揾少少嘢請下你食先。但係而家你食得啲咩嘅咧？
我唔理，我乜都食。你請嘅我乜都食。
你平時會自己過嚟行㗎？你會？
好少，早升嗰陣多啲。你請嘅我乜都食。
你平時會自己過嚟行㗎？你會？
好少，早升嗰陣多啲。早升嗰陣咧會同佢哋練完嘢之後就行過嚟呢邊，然後坐喺附近就傾偈食嘢。
我都幾 chill。
嗰陣太大壓力要舒解下。而家
壓力有冇好啲，定係識得處理壓力咧？識得
處理咗，同埋識得講咗咯。
最近出新歌，新歌係一定要講咗先㗎。
我嘅新歌叫做《給你一隻大口仔》。
想等到你親口說一聲，知道我感受，無悔做個所求，關於你的心底就夠。
我就覺得好犀利啊！第一首歌啫，第一首 solo， 而呢首 solo 係自己填詞，好叻啊！我覺得呢件事。
之前好緊張啊。
你幾時 firm 要自己填詞呢件事？
其實係好倉促嘅，因為本身諗住呢首歌係 second plug 嚟嘅本身。因為本身諗住呢首歌係 second plug 嚟嘅本身。如果年中出嘅話，咁我仲有好多個月可以寫，咁我仲有好多個月可以寫，咁我不如就試下自己寫啦。點知我寫咗個開頭之後，佢哋就話呢首可能要轉做 first plug 喎。馬上地咁我隻首歌就得翻2個禮拜俾我填詞，咁我隻首歌就得翻2個禮拜俾我填詞。
大家有印象咧，上次同 Ivy 嘅拍嗰條片都唔係好耐以前啫。其實我諗係大半年咁上下時間啦。嗰陣時咧留咗個尾巴嘅伏線，就係你有講話，如果之前嘅 Ivy 咧，你未必有呢個勇氣去做 solo。你未必有呢個勇氣去做 solo。係啊，當時未講㗎，未通知 solo 㗎嗰陣。你都未知道自己係會有。結果今次再見嘅時候已經係出咗 solo 啦。開心。結果今次再見嘅時候已經係出咗 solo 啦。開心。但係你知道咗要出 solo 嘅時候係緊張嘅，定係已經係一切 ready 啊？就如上次咁講。
因為其實我
要出 solo 嘅時候係緊張嘅。但係你知道咗要出 solo 嘅時候係緊張嘅，定係已經係一切 ready 啊？就如上次咁講。因為其實我心態上都好 ready 去接受呢件事，所以我一嚟到嘅時候，反而係個腦就即刻開機，係咁撈啊！我想做啲乜嘢咧？我想做啲乜嘢咧？我要點樣計劃咧？我首先定曲風，之後填詞，之後 MV， 之後可能歌詞嘅路。曲風嘅路，全部都係有個方向俾自己，先會好啲。因為始終都好似上次咁講啦，唔想乜嘢都留翻俾人哋決定，或者為我量身訂造當然係好啦，但係我想自己同今次 solo 嘅參與度會高少少。呢個 vegan 嘅漢堡啊，幾有趣喎！呢個係漢堡，係喎呢個。好耐冇食漢堡啦，我想講，我可以食同你分咪得啦。OK， 一人一半。咁如果係可以整個 burger 嘅喎，冇啊！你想就得㗎啦，你想就得㗎啦，使唔使望埋前面啦？hot dog 都好啊，你想食 hot dog 定係 burger 啊？咁啊，請你㗎啦，係。我哋包剪揼啦，不如我哋包剪揼啦，不如你贏嘅話就呢間，我贏嘅話就嗰間。包剪揼。好。
力量可能会更强一些，所以家长就会觉得哇，那我想让孩子去这个学校，让他享受最好的、最优的资源，所以就会有学区房的这样的一个概念。
明白。
还有一个就是，有男孩的父母，他们可能还要面临彩礼方面的压力。如果是不止一个男孩，那压力就是更大的，因为就是按照传统来讲，结婚的时候，男方的父母是要为孩子准备房子、车子，还有彩礼金的。
我们之前不是做了一期关于3胎政策的街头采访嘛？很多年轻人说，不想要生3胎，他们都有提到这个原因，就是经济压力。
是的，而且尤其是近2年新冠疫情的发生，它对经济是有很大的影响的，所以可想而知，养孩子那就是难上加难。
对啊，可能有一些父母会说，你没关系，你生嘛，你生了我来帮你养。但是这个又涉及到了教育理念的不一样。比如说你生了我来帮你养，但是这个又涉及到了教育理念的不一样。比如说父母养孩子，虽然你是可以帮助到年轻人一部分，但是毕竟这个教育还是需要年轻人来做的，或者是年轻人更希望自己能够去亲自来带孩子。
是，而且事实上
能够去亲自来带孩子。
是，而且事实上祖父母们他们是没有义务来照顾就是他们这个小孩的。
对，我也觉得是。
另外一个人口出生率下降的重要因素跟中国
也觉得是。
另外一个人口出生率下降的重要因素跟中国当代年轻人的婚育观念有关系。中国当代年轻人的婚育观念有关系。中国大多数的80、90后都至少完成了高中教育，而且本科学历的90后呢也是有很多的。并且随着生活和教育水平的提升， 年轻人呢，不再像他们父母那样需要为了每日的温饱而发愁，他们在解决他们父母那样需要为了每日的温饱而发愁。他们在解决生活的基本需求之上，也开始思考婚姻家庭和个人幸福之间的关系。他们不再是简单的活着，而是有了更高的精神追求，例如追求高品质、有意义的生活。渐渐的呢，他们也就开始反思，甚至是质疑结婚生子的必要性。长期以来，中国的儒家传统思想文化强调结婚生子、延绵子嗣就是人生的必经之路，而要结婚生子、延绵子嗣就是人生的必经之路，而且非婚生子是被延绵子嗣就是人生的必经之路，而且非婚生子是被认为不可取的。然而，现在处于婚育年龄的中国千禧一代，尤其是90后，不再认为结婚生子是人生的必然选择。首先呢，随着女性经济地位的提升和独立意识的觉醒，女性经济地位的提升和独立意识的觉醒，越来越多的年轻女性不愿进入就是传统的男强女弱的婚姻关系，她们的性不愿进入就是传统的男强女弱的婚姻关系，她们的事业允许她们有足够的收入来过独立的生活。其次，越来越多的女性认识到，一旦进入异性恋婚姻，并且生下孩子，她们很可能就要被传统的性别规范所束缚，要被迫放弃自己的事业，成为家庭主妇。就算她们被期待继续工作，同样是白天在外工作，女性在回到家庭之后，还要包揽照顾家人，进行家务劳动这样的职责。
确实是的。就比如说我有一个朋友啊，她就是结了婚生了小孩，然后当然是跟丈夫还有婆婆住在一起，然后这个公公婆婆以她的关系啊，她觉得处理起来也是非常的复杂，然后加上自己又有经济上的困难，会觉得不要他们照顾吧，自己好像又真的没有办法辞掉工作来照顾小孩，那要他们照顾，当然就要面临这个公婆之间的这种冲突，还有教育理念上的这个差异。
是，确实是就是有诸多的困境在里边吧。而且我刚才也是想说，就是因为有越来越多的年轻女性，像你刚才提到的，她们开始认识到社会中就是结构性的性别不平等问题，比如说家庭中的丧偶式育儿和工作中平等问题，比如说家庭中的丧偶式育儿和工作中对女性的职场性别歧视。所以就算他们在面临父母不断的催婚，还有社会对大龄单身女性的歧视，以及政策对非婚生子这样的情况的限制，他们也是不愿意进入，或者说不愿意轻易进入一段不平等的婚姻关系，将相夫教子作为人生的终极目标。
大部分的女性如果说她没有这种经济能力，也没有受到良好的教育的话，可能她会面临这样的一个困境，就是她面对被父母催婚的情况下，她不得不选择去嫁给他们父母认为合适的人选。
Nhưng mà mình chỉ có thể làm như vậy nếu như mà giáo viên dạy văn của mình đã đi tới vỗ vai mình một cái và nói là "Mày đấy, mày chính" Giáo viên dạy văn của mình đã đi tới vỗ vai mình một cái và nói là "Mày đấy, mày chính là lỗ hổng của giáo dục." Chính là lỗ hổng của giáo dục. Bỗng nhiên tự nhiên mình nghe cái câu đó nó có một cái sự, tếu táo trong đó và nó có một cái sự khích lệ.
Thế hả cô nói thì
Có một cái sự khích lệ.
thế hả cô nói thì thật à?
Cô nói như vậy. Tới giờ em vẫn còn giữ liên lạc với cô. Cô luôn nói giờ em vẫn còn giữ liên lạc với cô. Cô luôn nói em là một đứa quá là cảm tính khi viết văn. hôm nay mày viết bài này, mày vui thì mày viết rất hay. Còn bài này mày không thích, mày viết
Hey Len, welcome back again. You're off for work already?
quá dở. Nên là cô thì hay nói là cái thành công lúc đó của em, cái giải thưởng lúc đó của em thì em đừng có nghĩ nó là
How you doing? Reeve Siva Varaman. Welcome. It's my first time see here, so glad you can be here. I'm just gonna be studying, so any questions, just drop it down.
là một cái gì đó mà đó của em, cái giải thưởng lúc đó của em thì em đừng có nghĩ nó là một cái gì đó mà nó ý của cô là có thể cái đó hoàn toàn là do cảm hứng của mình để mình có được cái giải văn thành phố đó. Nhưng mà một người mà theo con chữ để về lâu dài thì cô có nói là phải làm sao để mình có được những cái motivation mà nó còn đi ra từ nhiều cái motivation khác chứ không phải chỉ là inspiration không. Mình phải tự tìm được motivation.
Is this the time to start grinding on Link now?
Để mình đi tiếp.
Câu chuyện động lực và cảm hứng.
Dạ, câu chuyện động lực và cảm hứng. Nên
I was here first. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I just didn't say anything. I had you up my secondary monitor. I'm just trying to get in about an hour and a half of studying. Thanks, Zaya. I believe you. No worries though.
Nên là câu chuyện động lực và cảm hứng. Nên em nghĩ là nếu câu chuyện động lực và cảm hứng. Nên em nghĩ là nếu như mà mình cứ đánh giá thành công của bản thân mình mà mình không có những cái người khác để validate cái thành công đó thì cũng rất là khó. Em nghĩ cái validation rất quan trọng. Đó là do tại sao chúng ta có cái phần viết endorse người khác trên LinkedIn. Tại vì nếu mà trên LinkedIn là 10 người thì hết 10 người định nghĩa mình. Tại vì nếu mà trên LinkedIn là 10 người thì hết 10 người định nghĩa mình thành công rồi, em nghĩ vậy. Đúng được như vậy. LinkedIn là nơi mọi người hay bảo là để ai cũng có thể thành công trên LinkedIn, mà bây giờ còn có Thread City. Thì em nghĩ là LinkedIn là có những cái phần mà để cho mình có một cái dấu mộc là mình phải có được người khác thừa nhận cái thành công đó của mình. Dấu mộc là mình phải có được người khác thừa nhận cái thành công đó của mình. Rõ ràng là chúng ta đang sống trong cuộc sống là chúng ta
LinkedIn sounds like LinkedIn. Oh, it's kind of nice that you're listening to. I'm listening to. It does sound like LinkedIn, to be honest. It's very close, but completely. Of course, the meaning is. Actually, I don't even know what LinkedIn. It actually has a meaning of its name.
Hay đi tìm sự validation của người khác. Chúng ta tìm một cái sự đóng mộc của người khác vào cho mình. Bạn đã làm rất tốt công việc này.
You're gonna do 300 links today, right, Len?
Và em nghĩ đó là một điều tốt. Nhưng chúng ta phải đặt câu hỏi là cuối cùng là chúng ta tìm cái validation đó để chúng ta chứng minh điều gì? Để cho chúng ta đỡ bị lung lay hơn khi đặt câu hỏi mình có phải người thành công hay không? Hay để cho chúng ta dùng cái validation đó để tiếp tục đi làm những công việc khác và có được sự tin tưởng từ những người khác. Nếu như mà mình không trả lời được câu hỏi đó thì em nghĩ là rất khó để mà mình có một cái niềm tin vào bản thân mình về sự thành công. Em nghĩ là rất nhiều người khi mà em gặp thì em nhìn họ một cái là mình có cảm giác là họ rất là thành công. Và khi mà họ cất tiếng nói lên hay là vào cái cách mà họ giao tiếp với mình thì cái niềm tin đó của mình hoặc là nó sẽ sụp, hoặc là vào cái cách mà họ giao tiếp với mình thì cái niềm tin đó của mình hoặc là nó sẽ sụp, hoặc là nó sẽ được validate, hoặc là nó sẽ được kiểu giống như là củng cố rõ nét hơn. Cái đó là cái mô hình gọi là ethos, pathos với lại logos, tam giác của Aristotle. Một người khi mà người đó có khả năng thuyết phục bạn chỉ vì cái vibe của người đó thôi thì là người đó có một cái ethos rất là mạnh. Nhìn một cái là cảm thấy uy tín rồi. Và nhìn đâu đó đọc một cái portfolio nhìn cũng thấy rất là uy tín luôn. Nhưng mà khi mà người đó nói uy tín luôn. Nhưng mà khi mà người đó nói ra và người đó chia sẻ quan điểm của họ thì cái cảm xúc họ để lại cho mình là gì, và cái cách họ lập luận, họ thuyết phục mình nó có đang là một cái gọng kiềng ba chân để mà chúng ta là một cái gọng kiềng ba chân để mà chúng ta có thể tin được cái người đó hay không. Đó chính là cái nghệ thuật thuyết phục mà đi theo cái tam giác đó. Nhưng mà chúng ta hiện tại chúng ta đang rất là chạy theo cái ethos, chúng ta luôn chạy theo cái sự uy tín. Chúng ta luôn nghĩ là nếu mà chúng ta được nhiều người công nhận về cái ethos của mình, về cái sự thành công của mình, thì bằng một cách nào đó cái uy tín chúng ta sẽ được lan rộng ra hơn. Em nghĩ cái nào đó cái uy tín chúng ta sẽ được lan rộng ra hơn. Em nghĩ cái đó nó sẽ bị không bền, không vững. Quan trọng là cái cốt lõi cái đó nó sẽ bị không bền, không vững. Quan trọng là cái cốt lõi của mình làm được điều gì. Nên quay lại câu hỏi ban đầu thì có thang đo làm được điều gì. Nên quay lại câu hỏi ban đầu thì có thang đo nào để đánh giá được sự thành công hay không. Em nghĩ là bản thân mình có thể nhìn cái góc độ nào đó khác để mình vỗ về an ủi.
Nào.
Để nhìn cái góc độ nào đó khác để mình vỗ về an ủi mình, that's fine. Nhưng mà mình có thể có được những cái sự validate từ những người khác và những người thật sự hiểu mình hay không. Những người thật sự rất hiểu mình và họ biết được là mình cái chặng đường thành công của mình lúc đó là nó có phải đến từ năng lực của mình. Cái chặng đường thành công của mình lúc đó là nó có phải cái chặng đường thành công của mình lúc đó là nó có phải đến từ năng lực của mình hay không, hay chỉ là câu chuyện là chị Minh ơi sắp tới em đi du học rồi, chị có thể viết cho em một cái recommendation letter hay không, mà mặc dù chúng ta chỉ mới gặp.
Sí, sí. O el de la versión.
Tennis, don't get me started about Tagalog. Vito needs to start to transition to use some English words to speed it.
No la pérdida. Es decir, preferimos no perder a ganar.
Sí, sí.
Todo eso yo creo que es tan importante saberlo.
Mira, y hay uno que para mí es particularmente... Mira, y hay uno que para mí es particularmente...
Tagalog, link your notes, like 50% is all.
potente, creo que se llamaba el de Dunning-Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger.
Que es me gusta definirlo como el inconscientemente incompetente. ¿Por qué? Porque hay personas que no tienen ni idea de ciertas cosas, que por el mero hecho de ser bastante incompetentes, se creen que son muy buenas. Y al contrario, personas que son muy buenas en un ámbito normalmente están muy infravaloradas por sí mismas. Y es un sesgo en que la toma de decisiones están muy infravaloradas por sí mismas. Y es un sesgo en que la toma de decisiones no sé, es trabajar bajo el paraguas del impostor, ¿no? Por parte de las personas que controlan, y es como una impostor, ¿no? Por parte de las personas que controlan, y es como una sobrevaloración por la parte de las personas que no tienen ni idea. Y el peligro no está en el síndrome del impostor, el peligro está en los inconscientemente incompetentes, que se creen que de un tema pueden saber mucho y de verdad se lo creen. Y es como dar una pistola a un mono.
Que son la mayoría. Porque claro, si nosotros hacemos...
Y es como dar una pistola a un mono.
Que son la mayoría. Porque claro, si nosotros hacemos un análisis de la sociedad, 90% de personas sufren de o confían y siguen al que sufre de. Porque personas sufren de o confían y siguen al que sufre de. Porque al final la poca información te permite matizar poco. Y ya lo sabes tú perfectamente que a medida que vas aprendiendo sobre tu expertise, y eres experto, llevas 20 años en eso, 30, cada vez piensas que sabes menos.
Totalmente.
Y tus palabras están más matizadas, utilizas más, ¿vale? El depende de la situación, no hay una regla precisa, el tal. Y eso en la audiencia, por ejemplo, le genera desconfianza. Puede que no sepa lo que sabe, no, lo sabe tanto que sabe todos sus matices. Cambia un tío que acaba de empezar, el truco número 1 para, si haces esto, conseguirás seguro esto. Claro, esa certeza que dan sus enunciados le quita el miedo y la incertidumbre a la audiencia o quien te escucha.
Sí, señor.
Y por eso es tan grave. La audiencia tiene que entender, y cualquier persona debe entender, que no es A, B y C, no son recetas, todo hay matices, y que ojo con... Claro, pues es uno de los rasgos más carismáticos, los superlativos. Yo lo he hablado con Juan Domínguez, que tengo un plan muy amigo mío, superlativos. Yo lo he hablado con Juan Domínguez, que tengo un plan muy amigo mío. Y claro, y en el lenguaje de la viralidad, ellos lo han visto en el podcast, pero yo les dije, os fijaréis como las entrevistas más, yo les dije, os fijaréis como las entrevistas más virales son esas que utilizan más superlativos. El peor, el mejor, las 3 reglas clave.
Sí, es verdad. Es verdad.
Porque da certeza.
Eso es.
Y entonces está ahí a balancearlo.
Sí, la certeza y límite te lo acota todo mucho y eso es más fácil. ¿Te acuerdas lo de entre lo fácil y lo apropiado? El cerebro elige lo fácil.
Entre.
¿Te acuerdas lo de entre lo fácil y lo apropiado? El cerebro elige lo fácil. Lo fácil es 3 reglas para hacer esto. Pam, 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 ya lo tienes.
Claro.
Si tú me preguntas, me te digo, bueno, es que depende, hay que valorar esto. Si tú me preguntas, me te digo, bueno, es que depende, hay que valorar esto, hay que valorar lo otro. No es fácil. Ya tengo que pensar, ya tengo que valorar, ya tengo que hacer a ti una cosa y al otro la otra. Tengo que hacer a ti una cosa y al otro la otra. No gusta tanto. Que sí, como digo yo, como miniatura está muy bien, pero la realidad no vale para nada. O sea, todo lo que sea tan categórico hay que huir de ello. Nada. O sea, todo lo que sea tan categórico hay que huir de ello.
¿A ti te resulta particularmente interesante la persuasión? ¿A ti te resulta particularmente interesante la persuasión?
Mucho, sí.
Más que los gestos y el lenguaje no verbal.
Es que van un poco de la mano. Y a mí me ha llegado más tarde todo el tema de la persuasión que la comunicación no verbal, pero te das cuenta que lo uno tiene que ir de la mano del otro. Careces de potencial de persuasión cuando tu lenguaje corporal no va de la mano de la parte verbal. Cuando generas una incongruencia, la gente te observa y las neuronas espejo de los demás empiezan a ver cosas raras, enseguida espejo de los demás empiezan a ver cosas raras, enseguida se enciende la amígdala como diciendo no me cuadra esta persona y no
Disfraz,
pega.
¿no?
Como diciendo no me cuadra esta persona y no
Disfraz,
pega.
¿no?
No llegas a persuadir. Entonces va muy de la mano. Pero te tengo que reconocer que llevo ya tiempo muy metido en el mundo de la neurociencia, que lo que acá hablabas, o sea, yo me di cuenta que en una escala de 1 a la neurociencia, que lo que acá hablabas, o sea, yo me di cuenta que en una escala de 1 al 100 estoy en el 1.1, o sea, es que me queda, te iba a decir, me queda por aprender, es que yo según voy escalando, te iba a decir, me queda por aprender, es que yo según voy escalando escalones, un escalón por encima aparecen 7. Eso es una locura. Un escalón por encima aparecen 7. Eso es una locura, ¿no? Y cada vez me doy cuenta más la vinculación que existe entre la neurociencia, funcionamiento del cerebro, todo el tema relacionado con el lenguaje corporal, todo el tema relacionado con la persuasión. Al final es todo, ¿no? Como te digo, es tener en cuenta el cerebro de las personas, y no a las personas, sino el cerebro de las personas para llegar a persuadirlas, ¿no? Desde personas, sino el cerebro de las personas para llegar a persuadirlas, ¿no? Desde patrones muy básicos, pero además unido muy bien a los perfiles desde patrones muy básicos, pero además unido muy bien a los perfiles al perfil de personalidad de una persona, ¿no? Es decir, depende de tu perfil de personalidad, hay que matizar ciertos componentes. Entonces, es todo personalidad, hay que matizar ciertos componentes. Entonces, es todo como muy interconectado y muy en progresión geométrica lo que queda. Yo, como muy interconectado y como muy interconectado y muy en progresión geométrica.
Probably me. Okay. So basically, the idea is that if I would stare at this guy's face, for example, to put yourself in a more subconscious state, because when you look at this guy, you're not able to see these texts more clearly. So you rely more on your ears. And because of that, I would hear the sentence. I will focus on each sound. And if there's any sound within the sentence that doesn't match what I know or that's incomprehensible, once this audio reaches the end of this sentence, I would go back and automatically get the translation for words I don't know. For example, interconectado or geometrica. And then I would just, before I click on it, I will stare at this guy's face and then just click on it and then just try to hear the sound again.
Como muy interconectado y muy en progresión geométrica.
So that's pretty much equivalent to doing the links for listening. Yeah.
Lo que queda. Yo siempre digo que a mí me faltan.
In your case, you could probably start like you can search comprehensible Chinese and just watch those videos if you really want, like 5 minutes of it, or in real time maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and then just build up from there. Because back then when I did the 10,000 words is because I didn't have language reactor. I had to do everything raw. So, but for your case, you could probably just start listing right away. Just do the what they call comprehensible conversations. I can actually probably look for one if you want. There's actually a really good channel I recommend someone. Maybe if I can find it. Had me totally not distracted or anything.
Mis vidas para poder aprender la mitad de lo que me gustaría aprender. Y alguien que lee tanto y aprende tanto como tú. Porque te pasas el día. Madre mía. Y ahora con la inteligencia artificial, más todavía.
Estás ahí como...
Es de los mejores inventos. O sea, a mí me está dando la vida la inteligencia artificial. ¿Sí? Sí, sí, porque me permite optimizar mucho.
Yeah, you can pretty much do like a maybe 90-10, as in, actually, what's the math? So if we were to do 90-10, that's about 9% of, I don't know, how much do you study, like an hour a day? So you could, if I were to do 9% of that. So you have 6 minutes, actual 6 minutes. You can probably, I recommend Dashu Mandarin for your case because it's like a perfect start. Going through an imported of Dashu right now. Yeah, it's honestly for your case, I think it's king to start with Dashu because it starts small and then the vocabulary is enough so that you can increase the speed and that's already automatically intermediate. So you can probably just increase it to be actual native. Let me see. Let me guess how fast.
好，欢迎来到大叔中文。好，很少看到这么配合的嘉宾哦。
Chinese was
念大叔中文。好，
出了中国之后
that's kind of clickbait. Probably, yeah. Maybe in your case you could probably slow it down, maybe, but they speak pretty slow. Okay, for their standards.
来到大叔中。
Technically, you want the environment of at least 2 people. The more, that's actually better because you're pretty much more of a real life setting. The more people there are.
你完全没有笨叔的那种感觉。
Oh, these guys are fast. Never mind. Maybe how fast should you really go to start?
怎么这么软呀你？
Okay, that sounds very bad. Holy crap.
我跟你讲，笨叔是走淘气。
Okay, that sounds very ugly. Wow. Never mind. How would you start?
那种花俏的路线，我是走稳重的路线。对，所以
Okay, never mind. You probably have to go easier than that. Maybe comprehensible Chinese conversation. Yeah, they're definitely more. They're in between beginner and intermediate for sure. You definitely don't want to start with them right away. I wish Mandarin Corner had subtitles like CCs. I guess lazy Chinese. I don't know how fast they go.
OK， 好的。
Não, mas Shadow é top.
大家
Shadow é
好，
boa de ler.
欢迎回来，我和志飞的
I guess this is a good one. Lazy Chinese. The speed seems pretty.
播客。志飞，今天我们聊什么？
今天我们要聊你喜
faster speed, but the vocabulary is very simple, most likely. So maybe lazy Chinese to start with. You can probably aim for like hitting from 0 minutes to 2 minutes of real actual audio. So, and then the rest just all out on Link. That's probably how I would do it.
É demais, não é pra ler porque é importante, não é pra ler porque vai cair no vestibular. É engraçado, cara, é importante, não é pra ler porque vai cair no vestibular. É engraçado, cara, quando cai a ficha de algumas coisas que ele tá dizendo, ali, você ri alto, você se diverte, é pra ler por isso. Então eu fico me perguntando, será que as pessoas já
Junkai, Jesus, 100 times? That's a little too much. I don't think I want to listen to those that repeat 100 times. Oh. If it works, then sure. But technically, because he's I always
现在是晚上9点。
I still recommend trying to listen to people conversations, at least 2 people. One person it's kind of more weird. I still recommend like 2 people. Intermediate. If it's way too hard for you, then you can go to back to the other guy, because in the end, you're gonna get there pretty fast, in my opinion, with Link's Reactor.
esperam tão pouco delas mesmas que elas acham que um livro de mais qualidade não vai ser possível para elas, que elas não vão conseguir. Então eu esperaria pelo menos essa tentativa, assim, que arrisquem, que busquem outros títulos, né? E que busquem interesses.
You're probably on a laptop, right? You have an actual like PC, because as long as you have a mouse and like a separate keyboard, you're gonna do links really fast. If you're doing everything through a laptop keyboard, you're gonna be slow.
Próprios, porque também esses livros dos mais lidos, muitas vezes eles são lidos pela moda, pela influência de outra pessoa, mas o que será que eu gosto de ler? Será que eu não gostaria mais de ler uma ficção científica? Ou um livro com uma linguagem mais poética? Ou um livro de romance romântico? Ou uma aventura histórica? Enfim, tem tanta coisa, não é possível que todo mundo tenha o mesmo gosto e que o gosto seja esse.
Que, pelo amor de Deus, né? Não, e tem também o desafio cognitivo, né? Tipo, o desafio cognitivo, né? Tipo, eu acho que às vezes tem... Sim, óbvio, né? Às vezes a pessoa só quer se divertir.
Oh, you're doing for laptop? Oh, yeah. Get a mouse and a keyboard for that laptop, because it's gonna be slow. How would I do it? I don't know. Find a keyboard that allows you to be comfortable with your right pinky on the arrow and your thumb on the K. It's pretty much. Let me think. I use an ergonomic keyboard. Do you know what the ergonomic is? These are that the keys are more curved, so your hands are more naturally comfortable. I recommend it. The cheapest one you find, if it makes comfortable for you, and a mouse. Yeah, you're gonna realize when you use those 2 together, you're gonna be a lot faster. Like maybe 1.5 times faster.
E aí, pô, eu entendo. Às vezes é seu hobby, pô, eu também faço muita merda no meu tempo livre e não vou julgar. Seu hobby, pô, eu também faço muita merda no meu tempo livre e não vou julgar, rapaziada. Mas às vezes tem uma parada que eu me desafio às vezes, né? Tipo assim, eu vou ver essa coisa que é um pouco mais desafiadora, eu vou ler essa coisa que já é meu lugar mais comum, eu vou ler essa coisa que já é meu lugar mais comum, eu vou aprender sobre tal coisa. Então existe um desafio do aprender, né? De manter a mente sobre tal coisa. Então existe um desafio do aprender, né? De manter a mente viva, né? A gente tem dados que mostram que pessoas mais velhas, né? A partir da mente viva, né? A gente tem dados que mostram que pessoas mais velhas, né, a partir dos 40, 50 anos, que se desafiam menos cognitivamente, através de leitura, interpretação de textos, desafios até mesmo de lógica, tem um envelhecimento da capacidade de...
They do have specialized keyboard for gaming, though. But that's funny.
Pensamento maior. Então, o seu cérebro, ele também atrofia, não é uma questão só de músculo. Então, você vai perdendo a capacidade de comunicação, você vai perdendo a capacidade de cognição. Então, pô, todo mundo já viu um velhinho de 60, 70 anos, que tá, pô, parece que a cabeça dele tá atrofiada, assim, parece que ele perde a capacidade de se comunicar, porque realmente é o que acontece, porque foi muito pouco desafiado cognitivamente, né? E aí eu acho que quando a gente fica nesse comfort food das ideias, é perigoso, né? De certa maneira também.
Eu ia falar exatamente a palavra desconforto. como a gente precisa aprender a passar mais tempo dentro do desconforto, né? Aprender a passar mais tempo dentro do desconforto, né? Ler uma coisa que é difícil e mesmo sentindo que não está entendendo tudo, mas ir ali brigando com o texto, fazer tudo, mas ir ali brigando com o texto, se colocar diante de desafios. Às vezes quem vai tentar ler um livro em inglês sabe que não vai entender tudo, mas tem um crescimento ali. Então, acho que a gente precisa pensar muito nessa velhice mesmo, né? Como queremos ser? Quer ser um velhinho que consegue subir a escada, carregar suas sacolas sozinhos, pagar as próprias contas, tomar as próprias decisões, ter a capacidade de ler seu próprio contrato de aluguel ou da compra de um carro, uma coisa assim? Porque senão da compra de um carro, uma coisa assim, porque senão tudo atrofia, né? O cérebro atrofia, músculo atrofia, a falta de hábito faz a gente ter muita dificuldade para fazer coisas que podem ser simples. Então, sim, a gente tem que procurar se todas as leituras estão sendo prazerosas, todas estão sendo fáceis, todas estão sendo confortáveis, tem alguma coisa de errado. Precisa se tirar dessa zona, sim. E o ganho cognitivo, apesar de ele não ser, às vezes, notado com tanta facilidade, nem mesmo pela própria pessoa, e menos ainda vezes notado com tanta facilidade, nem mesmo pela própria pessoa e menos ainda pelos outros, mas o ganho cognitivo com o tempo, ele traz grande satisfação para quem se expôs a esse processo. Então, não é um ganho imediato de prazer, às vezes é um desprazer que você vai ter que enfrentar para depois garantir esse ganho, mas ele vale a pena.
Pra gente terminar aqui, cara, a gente tem uma brincadeira aqui, que é nossas rápidas e curtas, que depois a gente publica em rede social, mas você vai ter que escolher aqui pra mim agora, tá? Os piores erros de português. Escrever agente junto, ao invés de separado, ou usar mais no lugar de mas.
Acho que o mais.
Você acha o pior mais?
Acho.
Você acha o pior mais?
Acho.
O mal, confundir o mal com L com mal com U, ou confundir o A com H com A sem H?
O A com H, porque aí muda o sentido.
Muda o sentido da palavra? Boa. Qual que você acha pior? Você confundir o uso do para mim com para eu, ou usar o menos?
Eu acho os dois muito legítimos.
É mesmo?
Acho, mas acho que o menos vai ganhar esse voto aí.
Menos é top. Menos é top. Eu gosto do menos. Às vezes eu uso recreativamente. Pô, eu gosto, desculpa aqui, mas eu gosto do uso recreativo de palavras erradas.
Com certeza. Não, e as palavras erradas, elas partem de uma lógica. Porque quem usa o menos está fazendo concordância. Várias outras palavras têm a concordância. Muita eu tenho a possibilidade de pôr na forma feminina, por que o menos não?
Então, eu gosto às vezes de usar brincando, né? Por exemplo, falar cérebro, tauba.
Ah, bem melhor.
Pô, é recreativo, é bem mais divertido. Você fala, pô, amor, bem mais gostoso.
Sou favorável.
Qual que é pior? Falar seja ou falar tudo no gerúndio? Eu vou estar falando.
Acho que falar tudo no gerúndio. Porque dá uma impressão de coisa arrastada que vai demorar, não gosto do efeito.
Até porque é o telemarketing que fala assim com a gente, né? E o que você acha pior? O uso de muitas gírias, né?
Aprire un'attività online, ecco, quindi sicuramente, però rimane che oggi nel 2025 è ancora un mestiere che purtroppo però rimane che oggi nel 2025 è ancora un mestiere che purtroppo è bistrattato, non è considerato rispetto a come invece lo è, rispetto a come invece
dovrebbe essere o è magari in altri paesi.
Esatto, quindi vabbè, non volevo aprire una polemica su
No, dai.
le condizioni Volevo aprire una polemica su
No, dai.
le condizioni degli insegnanti in Italia, però insomma è così purtroppo. Ma a proposito di insegnanti, tornando all'era in cui studiavi, c'è stato un insegnante che ha fatto la differenza per te?
Allora, partendo dalle elementari, sicuramente la mia maestra di italiano, era la mia maestra preferita.
Perché?
Intanto perché era molto, molto brava, molto paziente, poi mi piaceva il suo modo, com'era lei, poi profumava sempre, e poi era proprio brava, paziente con tutti. La mia classe era molto numerosa e c'erano anche dei bambini abbastanza vivaci, quindi lei davvero ci sapeva fare. Ci sono stati 2 insegnanti, che hanno lasciato un segno nella mia vita, che sono state la prof di francese al liceo, che ce l'ho avuta per 5 anni, e la prof di italiano sempre al liceo del biennio, che era severissima, però grazie a lei ho imparato un sacco di cose. Quindi queste 2 le professoresse del liceo. Mentre delle medie devo dire no, forse anche perché gli anni delle medie sono anni un po' di passaggio, quindi non ho nessun ricordo, anzi mi ricordo delle lezioni un po' noiose alla scuola media, perché si devono studiare tante materie e non tutte magari ti interessano.
Sì, esatto.
Cioè alle elementari secondo me c'è, questa voglia di scoprire, di studiare, invece la fase delle medie ci sono tantissime materie e poi invece quando vai alle superiori scegli di studiare quello che ti piace.
Sì, più o meno riesci
Sì, più o meno, insomma, la maggior parte di studiare quello che ti piace.
Sì, più o meno riesci
Sì, più o meno, insomma, la maggior parte delle materie che studi in teoria sono quelle che ti piacciono.
Ci sono ancora troppe cose imposte uguali per tutti,
Sì.
secondo me. Quindi rispetto ad altri paesi, rispetto appunto alla scuola in altri paesi. Però comunque sì, tu hai avuto quindi degli insegnanti che ti hanno lasciato qualcosa.
Sì, perché mi hanno insegnato tanto, erano insegnanti molto, molto brave secondo me, riuscivano proprio a me sono proprio arrivate, ecco. Soprattutto la prof di francese mi piaceva come spiegava, come si poneva con noi ragazzi, sì. Anche se poi il francese alla fine, ahimè, l'ho abbandonato all'università, però le sue lezioni mi ricordo che mi piacevano tantissimo. Abbiamo letto tantissimi romanzi in lingua proprio, quindi era anche lei severa ma giusta, ecco.
Io invece non ho un ricordo di un insegnante che ha fatto la differenza in qualche modo nella mia formazione o
Magari legato ad una materia che ti piaceva molto.
Forse la professoressa di inglese delle superiori, ma perché era una persona estremamente gentile, però non ho nessuno che mi abbia lasciato qualcosa o che mi abbia acceso una passione per una materia.
Vabbè, anche perché tu sei curioso di tuo.
Sì, a me interessa tutto. Però sì, no.
Beh, va bene così.
Va bene lo stesso?
Sì, va bene lo stesso.
Sì, nel senso le lingue ho avuto la passione delle lingue, ma non mi ricordo. Sì, nel senso le lingue ho avuto la passione delle lingue, ma non mi ricordo.
Peut-être capable.
Est-ce qu'on peut devenir violent?
Est-ce que par exemple si je
peut devenir violent?
est-ce que par exemple si est-ce que je peux étrangler quelqu'un? Est-ce que je peux mettre mes mains autour de son cou? Je peux étrangler quelqu'un? Est-ce que je peux mettre mes mains autour de son cou, attendre 1 minute qu'il meure? Là, tu te dis: moi je pourrais pas». Donc qu'est-ce qui s'est passé chez la personne, chez le criminel qui a fait ça pour qu'il passe à l'acte comme tu dis? Donc voilà, moi je pense qu'il y a ça et il y a aussi en fait, ça revient à ce qu'on dit, c'est l'ordinaire qui bascule. C'est ça un fait divers. C'est, tu es dans un petit village tranquille, tu es dans une famille sans histoire et d'un coup, il y a quelqu'un qui va zigouiller toute sa famille, tu vois? il y a quelqu'un qui va zigouiller toute sa famille, tu vois?
Zigouiller, ça veut dire c'est un mot très familier pour dire, massacrer. Oui et comment en fait, des gens ordinaires, peuvent, commettre des actes, monstrueux et tu l'as dit, comment en fait ils déraillent. Donc dérailler, vous savez, un train qui déraille, c'est un train qui sort un peu de la voie ferrée, mais dérailler, mais on l'utilise aussi pour les personnes. Quand on pète un câble, quand on devient personne, quand on pète un câble, quand on devient totalement fou ou qu'on est pris comme ça d'une pulsion de mort et qu'on se met à massacrer toute sa famille, pris comme ça d'une pulsion de mort et qu'on se met à massacrer toute sa famille, on déraille aussi et ça va vite. C'est là aussi on déraille aussi et ça va vite. C'est là aussi qui est fascinant. C'est que des gens ordinaires qui ont une vie en apparence normale peuvent faire c'est que des gens ordinaires qui ont une vie en apparence normale peuvent faire ça.
Et d'ailleurs, ce qui est aussi fascinant, c'est qu'à chaque fois donc il y a un crime avec un meurtrier, identifié qui a avoué, par exemple, qui reconnaît avoir tué, telle ou telle personne. Souvent, les médias, ils vont, dans le voisinage et ils vont dire, ils vont poser des questions aux voisins dans le voisinage et ils vont poser des questions aux voisins sur le meurtrier et je vous jure qu'à quasiment 100 pas 100 mais à 90 dans 90 des cas, les voisins vont dire: «Ah bah, vraiment, on l'avait pas vu venir», c'est-à-dire qu'on s'y attendait pas parce que vraiment c'était quelqu'un de super sympa. Il nous disait toujours bonjour, de super sympa. Il nous disait toujours bonjour, il nous rendait toujours plein de services. Tu sais, il y a toujours ça et nous on hallucine, à chaque fois,
Pareil pour les tu sais, pour les terroristes. On dit: «Oh, c'était quelqu'un de discret, de sympa, il me disait bonjour quand il sortait les poubelles, il avait des enfants». Vraiment, je n'aurais pas pensé ça. C'est vrai qu'on le voit, et c'est ça qui est fascinant. Moi, ce que j'aime aussi dans les faits divers, c'est que pour moi, je vais aussi comparer ça à presque du football, à du foot. Pour moi, c'est comme un élément de culture populaire. C'est-à-dire que tout le monde en parle, tout le monde peut en parler.
C'est
Il y a
ça.
pas en fait, il y a pas d'un côté les gens qui sont au courant, les gens qui savent, les lettrés et puis de l'autre, courant, les gens qui savent, les lettrés et puis de l'autre, les ignorants, les gens qui ne savent pas. Non, tout le monde a son mot à dire. Tout le monde peut dire: «Ah oui, je pense que c'est lui qui a tué. Ah non, je pense qu'il n'a rien. Je pense que c'est lui qui a tué. Ah non, je pense qu'il n'a rien fait». Et en fait, on va se retrouver comme ça au village, au bistrot, au café et même dans les discussions avec les amis ou avec des proches, si on n'a plus rien à dire, si on n'a pas trop de points communs, si on ne sait pas sur quoi on peut partir dans la conversation, eh bien on va lancer une conversation sur le dernier partir dans la conversation, eh bien on va lancer une conversation sur le dernier grand crime qui s'est passé en France et on va demander l'avis des uns et des autres. C'est ça, c'est en ça que je trouve que c'est vraiment un truc populaire en fait.
Exactement et en fait, moi, je me rends compte que quasiment à chaque personne avec qui, je vais parler, il va y avoir une mention tôt ou tard d'un fait divers. Parfois, c'est moi qui lance il va y avoir une mention tôt ou tard d'un fait divers. Parfois, c'est moi qui lance le sujet, bon, pas parce que j'adore ça. Parfois, c'est pas moi qui lance le sujet, bon, pas parce que j'adore ça. Parfois, c'est pas moi qui lance le sujet. Donc c'est vraiment la preuve que tout le monde est concerné et
C'est
sujet. Donc c'est vraiment la preuve que tout le monde est concerné et
c'est
j'ai
souvent toi quand même.
pas tout le temps, mais bon. Ce que je voulais dire, c'est que si par exemple, c'est un vrai conseil qu'on peut donner, que toi tu as un peu donné en filigrane comme on dit, mais si vous ne savez pas de quoi parler avec un Français, parler. Savez pas de quoi parler avec un Français, lancez-le sur une affaire criminelle. Je suis sûre que vous allez, faire mouche comme on dit, c'est-à-dire que vous allez, impressionner. Je suis sûre que vous allez, faire mouche comme on dit, c'est-à-dire que vous allez, impressionner. Donc voilà, les faits divers font partie de notre société, de notre culture et c'est horrible ce que je vais dire, mais c'est presque quelque chose c'est presque une des dernières choses qui unit les Français. C'est-à-dire que Nathan me hausse un peu les yeux parce qu'il pense que j'exagère, mais je trouve vraiment que ça réunit tout le monde un fait divers donc voilà.
Mais juste Violaine, j'aimerais dire un mot. Tu parlais tout à l'heure de et juste Violaine, j'aimerais dire un mot. Tu parlais tout à l'heure de mépris et que ça va mieux. C'est vrai qu'aujourd'hui, j'ai vu un chiffre passer, je crois qu'il y a 65 ou 70 des gens qui aiment beaucoup et qui s'intéressent aux faits divers. Mais je pense aussi que en apparence comme ça, en société, c'est encore un peu la honte pour certaines personnes d'en parler, c'est ou d'aimer ça. Il y a une forme de mépris et le premier truc qu'on peut parler, c'est ou d'aimer ça. Il y a une forme de mépris et le premier truc qu'on peut te dire si toi tu parles d'un grand criminel, par exemple, d'une grande affaire, on va pouvoir te sortir: «Tu t'intéresses à ça, grande affaire», on va pouvoir te sortir: «Tu t'intéresses à ça, vraiment». Et puis, en fait, après, je trouve aussi que quand on creuse un peu, les gens, en fait, derrière ça, ils lisent, ils s'informent, derrière ça, ils lisent, ils s'informent, ils s'intéressent beaucoup, beaucoup à ça. Et j'ai envie de te dire aussi que moi, par exemple, j'ai fait du droit et j'ai fait une licence de droit et c'est pas juste de la curiosité. J'ai fait une licence de droit et c'est pas juste de la curiosité mal placée.
I'm still here. I'm only recording the minutes I watch on the video and time it shows study on link. I'd like to shoot for an hour total time with the language per day and try to build that. My habits are bad. I finished a story. I want to scroll some videos or watch something else in English. I need a coffee or something, but I hate coffee. Tea? Tea's good. It has caffeine. It's just more better. Maybe. I have to make a call back now. No worries. You guys had to do something? No worries. Otherwise, just chilling here. I still have to listen a little more, and then I'm always free for conversation after whatever works. I'll open up Discord for a conversation later.
ところですね。体の話だったら鏡の前に立てば最近運動不足で太ってないところですね。体の話だったら鏡の前に立てば最近運動不足で太ってきたなと気づくことができるんですけれども、脳はこうだなと気づくことができるんですけれども、脳はこう自分で見れないので、知らず知らずのうちにこのような形で脳の発達が悪影響出てしまったらやっぱ恐ろしいなと。知らずのうちにこのような形で脳の発達が悪影響出てしまったらやっぱ恐ろしいなと。
ですね。
はい、思いますよね。
でも大人もだからやっぱり影響は少なく
そうですね。
はい、思いますよね。
でも大人もだからやっぱり影響は少なくともあるんでしょうね。子供は発育にも関係あるし、大人もってことです。あるんでしょうね。子供は発育にも関係あるし、大人もってことですもんね。
子供の方がより大きいとかあるんですか？
はい。脳の
大きいとかあるんですか？
はい。脳の発達で見たときに、特に人間にとって、
大きいとかあるんですか？
はい。脳の発達で見たときに、特に人間にとって大切な機能がたくさん詰まっている、この前頭前野、おでこの裏側に入っているんですけど、ここの発達というたくさん詰まっているこの前頭前野、たくさん詰まっているこの前頭前野、おでこの裏側に入っているんですけど、ここの発達というのは、だいたい成長期としては9歳から18歳ぐらいで一気に発達するというのは、だいたい成長期としては9歳から18歳ぐらいで一気に発達するって言われてるんですね。ですので今回実験のターゲットになっている子たちだったりですね。ですので今回実験のターゲットになっている子たちだったり、学力検査のターゲットになっている子たちは、まさにこう育つ検査のターゲットになっている子たちは、まさにこう育ち盛りのところなので。
Tim, you're down, Zaya. If I open the Discord chat, feel free to join for a voice call. I have a feeling that you want to ask questions, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter if you want.
よりこう差が出やすいなと。で、それからさらに30代ぐらいまでは発達がよりこう差が出やすいなと。で、それからさらに30代ぐらいまでは発達が続くと言われているんですけれど。
Well, you got the characters. That speeds everything up by like a lot, actually. Grammar-wise, no, just grammar. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's so because words being placed in different positions. It's so weird.
と言われてるんですけれど、残念ながらこう我々含む30以降になってくると、もうこれ衰える。
There's also way too many little particles, like what in each tiny individual word, so you have to pretty much figure out to keep track of each of them too.
衰える一方なんですよね。
はいはい。
ただやることは実は大人も子供も一緒で、子供は脳をたくさん使って脳をたくさん使って脳を育てなきゃいけない。で大人はこの育てた脳をたくさん使って維持していかなきゃいけない。
そっか。
なのでこれはたくさん使って維持していかなきゃいけない。
そっか。
なのでこれは子供だけの問題ではなくて、やっぱり大人も気をつけなきゃいけないなと思うんです。だけの問題ではなくて、やっぱり大人も気をつけなきゃいけないなと思うんですよね。
でも我々ね、子供たちがいるから、それぞれね、1歳と5歳、3歳、あと幼い子供たちがいるから、こういう話聞くと、もうスマホを触らせたくないって思ってしまうけど、今子育てにおいて、こういう話聞くと、もうスマホを触らせたくないって思ってしまうけど、今子育てにおいて、スマホってやっぱり便利で、
そうなの。もう無理よ。
スマホって
Would you say you're more or less fluent in the Tyler? Oh, way less. Oh, because one, I never trained speaking. speaking is like a separate skill in itself. You have to trigger the passive because all the words you learn from Link is all the words you learn from Link is passive. Listening, you're converting it to active. So pretty much, for example, we have like one root, right? This is the words, and then for the seed to grow, it goes in one of the two. It goes in two directions. One is listening, and one's speaking. So you have to eventually train the speaking, as in you have to activate the vocabulary somehow through stressful situations, such as talking to a native speaker directly in live time to trigger the words, or you can pretty much talk to yourself in Japanese and translate as much as you possibly can. So I never really spoke, but definitely I would say I'm definitely way terrible. I'm still A0 in Japanese. Okay, you understand a lot of this video, right? I argue listening comprehension. Yeah, listening comprehension is getting is a lot better because this is like the most native. This is native content. So I went straight to native content. If you listen to like typical comprehensible input from YouTube channels, I had to speed up like 1.4 times. So honestly, this is like a good transition. I'm at the area that I'm only trying to listen only native. But the tough part about Japanese is that language reactor, not only but this auto generated subtitles cannot match to their exact sound. This is the only video I found that everything is actually consistent so far. So after this, I don't know what's gonna happen.
スマホってやっぱり便利で、
90 it's not 90,000, that's 50,000. That's Korean. So the Japanese is 56,000. It just pretty much it gives me the ability to recognize words easier. So that's the thing. Oh, it's a Korean. Yeah. I didn't read the last part.
そうなの。
スマホってやっぱり便利で、
そうなの。もう無理よ。無理。YouTube キッズなしでは無理よ。そう、現代社会では無理です。先生。
はい。いや、おっしゃってることは重々承知しております。はい、まずは科学的なエビデンス、重々承知しております。はい、まずは科学的なエビデンスだけお伝えしておきます。はい、重々承知しております。はい、まずは科学的なエビデンスだけお伝えしておきます。はい、これは残念ながらスマホ育児は脳の発達に良くないんですよね。
やっぱりそうなんだ。
これは残念ながらスマホ育児は脳の発達に良くないんですよね。
やっぱりそうなんだ。いいって言ってくれよ。ダメ？やっぱりダメ。
例えば問題を解決。
いいって言ってくれよ。ダメ？やっぱりダメ。
例えば問題を解決する能力だったり、コミュニケーション、言葉の発達であるとか、それから感情の制御、コミュニケーション、言葉の発達であるとか、それから感情の制御、自分をコントロールする力の育ち、それから間接的な影響とコントロールする力の育ち、それから間接的な影響としてやっぱり睡眠不足、運動不足にもつながるっていうことが、これ日本だけじゃないです。もう世界中で問題になっていて、つながるっていうことが、これ日本だけじゃないです。もう世界中で問題になっていて、もう論文もどんどん出てきてしまっているんですよね。もう論文もどんどん出てきてしまっているんですよね。ちなみに、この WHO のガイドラインでは、2歳児まではもうあらゆるメディア、スマホだけじゃなくてタブレット、テレビも含めて見せないっていうのがガイドラインになってます。で、タブレット、テレビも含めて。
This is like more super adult. This is super formal. This is very formal. Just too many advanced words here.
で、タブレット、テレビも含めて見せないっていうのがガイドラインになってます。で、2歳以上は1時間までっていうふうになってますね。1時間までっていうふうになってますね。ぜひこのあたりは目安、あくまで目安として、話を通じて1時間までっていうふうになってますね。ぜひこのあたりは目安、あくまで目安として、話を通じてやっていただきたいなと思います。
そっか。見せちゃってたな。
いや、見せますよね。
見せちゃいますよね。
1歳でも見せましたよ。見せてたと思う。ゼロは。1歳でも見せましたよ。見せてたと思う。ゼロはなかった。
しかも教えてもないのに、スマホの使い方分かってるんですよ。
すごい。
スワイプとか。
ああ、でもね、こうやって。
ないのに。
Probably 40-50%. Everything is I can read every single thing here, but my ears have not heard these words before. The thing is, has your ears heard any of these words yet? That's the thing. So I'll say 40-50%. My ears cannot comprehend, but my eyes is 90% comprehensible. So don't forget, they're two different things. Can your eyes recognize it, and can your ears recognize the sound? Two different training platforms. So basically, when you're starting to listen, you're at 0% comprehension, but your eyes can probably recognize maybe more than you, like 50%, 60%. So keep that in mind.
スマホの使い方分かってるんですよ。
すごい。
ないのに、
Yeah, when you start listening Chinese, you're gonna realize you can read more than you listen, but that means you haven't heard the word enough.
スマホの使い方分かってるんですよ。
すごい。
スワイプとか。
ああ、でもね、こうやって興味持ってやりますよね。
これすごいですよね。やっぱり子供のその習得する力。これ
で興味持ってやりますよね。
これすごいですよね。やっぱり子供の。
I can read everything, but voicing it, I'm butchering in my head. So the only way to correct it is keep listening more, or eventually just shadow it. So I'm only trying to just understand what he's saying, no matter how bad I'm butchering. Because if I'm saying it in my head, I'm pretty much attempting to speak right. But if I'm listening, it doesn't really matter how I say it, how I think it's pronounced, as long as he says it correctly. So.
このその習得する力、これ自体は別に望ましいことだと思うので、興味を持って何か新しい自体は別に望ましいことだと思うので、興味を持って何か新しいことに挑戦すると。でやっぱりもう一つ気になるのは、今すごい見せちゃってるよとか、あるいは小中。やっぱりもう一つ気になるのは、今すごい見せちゃってるよとか、あるいは小中学生の子どもたちでも今たくさん使っちゃってるよっていう子たちが、じゃあやめ、中学生の子どもたちでも今たくさん使っちゃってるよっていう子たちが、じゃあやめたらなんとかなるのかっていうとこ多分気になると思うんですよね。やめたらなんとかなるのかっていうとこ多分気になると思うんですよね。でそこが、残念ながらこのような脳の研究ではまだ検討中なんですけれども、残念ながらこのような脳の研究ではまだ検討中なんですけれども、少なくとも学力のテストの成績の時点では結果が出てます。お願いします。テストの成績の時点では結果が出てます。お願いします。でこれは2年間の成績の変化とスマホの使用習慣の変化をグラフにしたものです。例えば、スマホの使用習慣の変化をグラフにしたものです。例えば、使ってなかった子が2年後、使わない状態を継続している。使わない状態を継続している。あるいは、使い始めたんだけれども、1時間未満に抑えられている場合には、成績が上がっていると。で逆に使い始めていきなりこう1時間以上使う。
Honestly, this is only interesting if you're into research, because they pretty much talk about all this research here, so I'm kind of like bored of it. Like it's a lot of new content to learn from, but I'm not sure how often I'll hear it unless I talk to like a real adult. I think that's like a stage a lot later, so I'll probably just go easier or more common words. I'll just speed up the conversation.
はい。なんかこれからやりたいことってありますか？
あります。いいね。あ、プライベートでやりたいことか。そうだね。
じゃあ今やってることが一番。
今はね、正直一番ですね。はい。
いや、楽しみですね、これから。
Yeah, I guess I have a tolerance though. It's not really boring. It actually is kind of boring. It depends. Yeah, but I realized to make it not boring, I think that's beginner content. Beginner content, to really not be bored of it, you have to just have like a certain amount of time you want to focus on it, and then maybe shift that somewhere else. But we'll see. Because if everything's recognizable, I'm forced to go back to that native content anyways, eventually.
正直一番ですね。はい。
いや、楽しみですね、これから。
そうですね。
それが僕の新しいプロジェクトなんですけど、もうすぐ始めます。
ゆきさん、
はい。
なんかこれからやりたいことってありますか？
これからですか？
はい。
基本的にはなんか現状維持、今頑張ってることをそのまま基本的にはなんか現状維持、今頑張ってることをそのまま頑張り続けたいなって思ってるんですけど、今年の最初になんか1年の目標とか立てますか、ケンさん？
そうですね。はいはい、立てます。
私もなんか毎年大体最初に考えるんですけど、今年仕事以外でこれを頑張ろうって決めたのは、読書をたくさんするんですけど、今年仕事以外でこれを頑張ろうって決めたのは、読書をたくさんすること。
読書。
本をたくさん読むことを頑張りたい。頑張りることじゃないけど、楽しみたいなと思ってます。
そうですか。どんな本を読むのが好きですか？
ですね。小説だったらミステリー系が好きです。
ミステリー系。
今読んでるのもミステリーです。
ミステリーってことは、 話の中で誰かが、その話の中で誰かが殺されたり行方不明になったりするっていう感じですか？
そうですね。なんか事件が起き
殺されたり行方不明になったりするっていう感じですか？
そうですね。なんか事件が起きる。
事件が起きる。
そうです、そうです。もともと本読むのすごい苦手で、
あ、そうですか。
全然学生時代とか全く読まなかったんです。学生時代とか全く読まなかったんですけど、大人になってちょっと後悔してて、本をもっと読めばよかったなと思って、そうちょっとずつ読む時間を作るようにしてます。
あ、そうなんです。
読む時間を作るようにしてます。
あ、そうなんです。
シェンさん本読みますか？
全然読まないです。
あ、そうなんですね。昔から。
昔から。子供の時漫画はよく読んでたんですけど、なんか僕本を読むと眠くなるんですよ。
わかります。集中するのが難しいですよね。
そうですね。だから寝たい時に本を読むのはいいかもしれないです。
確かに。
ふみさん、将来やってみたいことはありますか？いいかもしれないです。
確かに。
ふみさん、将来やってみたいことはありますか？
特に今、なんだろう。将来やってみたいこと。例えば
新しい仕事を始めてみたいとか、趣味としてこういうスポーツを始めてみたいとか、引っ越しをしてみたいとか、海外に住んでみたいとか、なんか引っ越しをしてみたいとか、海外に住んでみたいとか、なんかありますか？
そうですね。特にないかな。今、
そうですか。
なんかね、やりたいことがあったら、もうやんなきゃいけないと思っているから、将来っていうより、多分今やりますね。やりたいことがあったら。
なるほど。
だから今やってることはやりたいことなので、やりたいことがあったら。
なるほど。
だから今やってることはやりたいことなので、特に今温めてることはない。
じゃあ今やってることが、
特に今温めてることはない。
じゃあ今やってることが一番。
今はね、正直一番ですね。
なんかヒッチハイクもしてたって言った
ね。
なんかヒッチハイクもしてたって言ったじゃないですか。ヒッチハイク好きなんですか？
僕はもう大好きですね。ヒッチハイクめっちゃ好き。
日
本でもするし。
日本でも？
日
本でヒッチハイクしてどこからどこに行きましたか？
本でヒッチハイクして関西空港から、愛知県の家まで連れてってもらいました。
すごい。
愛知県の家まで
ヒッチハイクThat's funny.
連れてってもらいました。
すごい。
If only Mandarin made such words so simple. Technically, yeah, when you get there, you're gonna realize that Mandarin's a lot easier than you think. Just because usually for every pinging, the maximum letter for each character goes is up to like 5. You really can't surpass 5 letters. It's a lot easier than like Russian or German because they go for like this freaking long, depending. So just appreciate Mandarin. Like now you're gonna hate Mandarin, but when you get there, you're gonna really appreciate Mandarin for its simplicity. Japanese gets really complicated because the letter could go up to like 15 depending on the word.
OK， 好。
お金なかったからね。そう。
でもしゅんさんはお金があってもなくてもヒッチハイクしたいですか？
もちろん。それはもう、関係ないですね。もう旅が好きだから、アドベンチャーが。
なるほど。
そう。だからお金があるないはもう関係なくヒッチハイクはしますよ。
なるほど。めっちゃ面白い。
関係。
Because like for the thing is this kind of content, it's way too simple, so it's kind of annoying. We reach a certain point, you're forced to go back to the harder content, which kind of sucks.
時間以上使うようになっちゃった。
So I guess I'm back here. You pretty much have to push through the hard part. No. If you're stressed, just go take a nap.
굳이?
응, 굳이.
노래가 낫지.
진짜?
춤은 내가 뭘. 춤은 내가 뭘. 춤은 별로지.
오빠 조정석 쇼 할 때 내가 갔었어야 됐네. 내가 오빠 노래하는 걸 오빠 조정석 쇼 할 때 내가 갔었어야 됐네. 내가 오빠 노래하는 걸 딱 그거를 못 들어본 것 같아.
아 진짜.
아니면 특별할 건 없는 너의 하루를 내가 좋게 만들어줄게. 아니면 특별할 건 없는 너의 하루를 내가 좋게 만들어줄게.
야, 이거 재밌다. 야, 갈수록 계속 바뀐다. 특별할 것도 없는 세상에 넌 내 여자야. 뭐, 나중에 이렇게 되겠다, 야. 넌 내 여자야. 뭐, 나중에 이렇게 되겠다, 야.
그거를 제가 나오자마자 들어볼게요. 나오자마자 들어볼게요. 도대체 노래 얼마나 잘하길래 오빠가.
아니야, 오빠 뭘 잘해. 오빠 노래 많이 들어봤잖아. 오빠 뭘 잘해. 오빠 노래 많이 들어봤잖아.
많이 들어봤는데.
Nah, honestly, the more I think about it, I guess my style will be more how to teach you guys how to learn how to get the listening comprehension as fast as physically possible. But the speaking thing is a whole different world. So I don't think I can help about the speaking too much. I think the strategy I would provide is how to get the listening comprehension as fast as possible. So I guess that's very valuable too.
근데 뭔가 그냥 조정석 오빠가 부른 노래 이렇게 말고 많이 들어봤는데 뭔가 그냥 조정석 오빠가 부른 노래 이렇게 말고 경건하게 플레이 이렇게 들어볼게요. 노래 이렇게 말고 경건하게 경건하게 플레이 이렇게 들어볼게요.
그것도 이상한데.
왜요?
아니야. 그것도 이상한데.
왜요?
아니야. 그냥 나는 사실 이번 싱글 앨범 나오면 많은 분들이 즐겁게 들어줬으면 좋겠어, 내 노래를.
근데 날씨랑 너무 잘 어울릴 것 같아요.
그건 사실이야. 진짜요. 한번 들어보세요. 그건 사실이에요. 한번 꼭 들어봐 주세요.
그니까. 근데 진짜 사실 생각보다 오빠 앨범을 기다리시는 분들도 많더라고요. 생각보다 오빠 앨범을 기다리시는 분들도 많더라고요.
그래? 너무 좋은데?
그니까.
듣던 중 가장 좋은 너무 좋은데?
그니까.
듣던 중 가장 좋은 가장 기분 좋은.
진짜? 오빠 그러면 그 질문 있었어요. 파일럿이 더 힘들었어요? 오빠 그러면 그 질문 있었어요. 파일럿이 더 힘들었어요? 좀비 딸이 더 힘들었어요?
힘든 거?
힘들었어요?
힘든 거?
Yeah, I don't think you find North Korean anything, honestly, that I'm more of. But I don't really believe in immersion. That's just me. That's a different story.
힘든 거.
이 막상막한데.
오호호호호호.
왜냐면 파일럿은 여장을 하고 나오니까 이제 그런 연기에 대해서 그걸 설득시키는 과정이 굉장히 고민이 많이 됐었고, 좀비 딸은 부모가 된 이후에 이 영화를 찍다 보니까 우리 딸이 좀비가 됐어. 그거에 대한 어떤 슬픔과 아픔, 상실감 막 이런 것들이 너무 약간 차고 넘쳐서 이거를 이성적으로 잘 제어하기가 좀 힘들었어.
그렇구나.
이 두 가지의 힘듦이 좀 셌어. 근데 좀비 딸로 갈게. 좀비 딸이 더 힘들었던 것 같아. 실제로 아빠가 된 이후에 촬영을 하다 보니까.
그렇겠다. 그렇겠다.
그러니까 이게 결혼한 다음에 어떤 작품을 통해서 연기를 하는 거랑 또 결혼하고 아이를 갖고 어떤 작품 연기하는 거랑
완전 다르구나. 상상이 아예
어떤 작품 연기하는 거랑
완전 다르구나. 상상이 아예 안 돼.
상상이 안 되지.
네.
나도 이제 상상이 안 됐다가 경험해 보니 상상이 안 되지.
네.
나도 이제 상상이 안 됐다가 경험해 보니까 다르더라고.
딸바보예요, 오빠?
나는 딸바보지.
그러면은
딸바보지.
예원이가 엄마 좋아해요, 아빠 좋아해요?
엄마를 더 좋아하는 것 같아.
어떻게 해야 되지 이거는?
그러니까 놀 때는 예를 들어
어떻게 해야 되지 이거는?
나하고 신나게 놀았어. 잘 때는 아빠는 가야. 근데 내가 얘기를 주위 들어보니까 거의 다 비슷하더라고. 딸들 아빠가 예를 들어 좀
스케줄 때문에 나간다. 그러면 막 약간 좀 속상하고, 서러운 그런 눈빛과 호흡들이 있어. 속상하고, 서러운 그런 눈빛과 호흡들이 있어. 근데 내가 갈 때는, 아빠 갔다 와요. 갔다 오세요.
안녕.
안녕. 이렇게 되게.
그럼 만약에 예원이가 사춘기가 왔어. 사춘기가 와서 그럼 만약에 예원이가 사춘기가 왔어. 사춘기가 와서 꽝! 막 어쩌라고 아빠 얘기만 하면 어쩌라고 이렇게 대답.
나 지금 울컥하는데?
어쩌라고 이렇게 대답.
나 지금 울컥.
아빠 얘기만 하면 어쩌라고 이렇게 대답.
나 지금 울컥하는데? 그건 아닌 것 같은데. 나 지금.
아빠가 막 친구 사이 그만 좀 물어봐.
나 진짜.
아빠가 막 친구 사이 그만 좀 물어봐.
나 진짜, 야, 나 지금 혜리야, 나 진짜 울컥했어. 나 진심으로.
뭔데요?
나 진짜, 야, 나 지금, 너가 연기를 너무 잘했어, 지금. 난 그러면 진짜 너무 속상해.
또 어떡해요?
난 그러면 진짜 너무 속상해.
또 어떡해요?
거미 잡고 울겠지. 거미 잡고 울겠지. 거미 잡고 울겠지.
어떡해, 오빠 울어. 내 오빠 울렸어.
근데 내가 지금처럼.
어떡해, 오빠 울어. 내 오빠 울렸어.
근데 내가 지금처럼 약간 팍 꽂힐 때가 있어. 그거 있잖아. 약간 좀 감동받아서 내가 얼마 전에 울컥한 게 몇 개가 있어. 그거 있잖아. 약간 좀 감동받아서 내가 얼마 전에 울컥한 게 며칠 내가 바빠서 며칠 동안 못 본 거야. 며칠 내가 바빠서 며칠 동안 못 본 거야. 봐봐. 아침에 유치원을 가니까 내가 아침 일찍 나가면 못 보지.
그죠.
봐봐. 아침에 유치원을 가니까 내가 아침 일찍 나가면 못 보지.
그죠.
예원이가 잔 이후의 시간에 들어오면 못 봐.
그죠.
그럼 다음날 또 예원이가 잔 이후의 시간에 들어오면 못 봐.
그죠.
그럼 다음날 또 아침 일찍 나가 스케줄 때.
그죠.
그럼 못 봐.
That so Chinese, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese. I did Vietnamese the second longest. Vietnamese has been like 3 years already. So if you ever look at my Vietnamese stats, it's actually the second highest I ever have in all languages. So I have like 1,700. So I pretty much did Vietnamese the second longest. So Korea's like second or third. I mean, Korean's up there, but it's not good enough. If you ever learn Mandarin, I recommend Vietnamese next. Vietnam is such a good feeling to go to. Such a good place. Yeah, so Korean's second. If you ever stalk my listing, you can already check which one's the best one. Say, yeah, Japanese like the lowest. Even 300 is definitely not enough. You need 2,000.
봐. 이제 3일을 못 아침 일찍 나가 스케줄 때. 그럼 못 봐.
It's not too crazy. It's Mandarin, but you have the script. 你好，克明。我最近使用 LingQ 语调问题，我对黄色单词每日常已知 no 的状态，但是部分单词还是显示黄色，只有刷新网页才回复，偶尔会出现。请问你使用过程中有遇到这样的问题吗？待会儿必须再看一看。问题是我的缺点，所以我觉得我需要 OK， 我会用 Google 发音给我一个更细节的发音，因为我不想说错了，给一个错了答案，所以我想只要更清楚，太清楚。待会儿。没有，我从来没有遇到这样的问题。 没有。你可以问一问他，你可以问他们的公园，对不对？但是你的问题的话，我从来没有遇到这样的情况，从来没有。好的，我尝试换一个六冷气试试。可以。对，因为我觉得不算是个大事，所以我觉得你不用很担心。但是如果是绝大部分的词，可能会麻烦你。对，如果是有时候是一个字，没问题，就不理那个词。
오빠 이제 3일을 못 봤어.
어머 어머.
우리 예원이가
응.
아빠 보고 싶다고 딱 얘기를 하는 거야.
어머.
아빠 보고 싶어요. 아빠 언제 와? 아빠 근데
어머.
맨날 나가는 거를 전혀 저기 하지 않.
안녕.
맨날 나가는 거를 전혀 저기 하지 않.
안녕.
그러다가 그 얘기하는데 순간 팍 감동받아갖고.
어떡해. 오빠랑 똑같이 생겼을 거 아니에요.
나랑 똑같이 생겨갖고 약간 집중하거나 화가 나.
Okay. I might take a quick break. So my brain's on fire right now. I got this new fancy like taking 15-minute nap. How should I do this? So I have like a timer here. I'll be back. Anyone still there? Okay. If anyone wants to just chat, it's an option now. Hi, mute.
Hi guys.
There's like this guy that does Anki for 658 days. This guy's like extreme. But holy crap, this guy's super extreme.
Yes, it's me again doing my Anki. It's already super late, 3 a.m. I want to sleep, but I decided I still need to do a short video. So today I spent a lot of time doing Anki, almost 3 hours. I did more than 1000 repetitions, and as you remember, I have a huge backlog, but now it's not so big, and I hope this weekend I will finish all of them, and finally I will be able to start learning new cards again, not only doing my reviews. So a lot of you asked about my add-ons. I just show you the list. I want to make a video about them, but now I don't have much time. So here's the list, and I hope I can go for all of them later to make a video. So today I'll just do some reviews, and that will be everything for today. So if you didn't do your Anki, it's time to start. You can turn the sound off and open your Anki instead. So I just start. Oh fuck. I don't remember how to write it.
What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. In my 1K Dreaming Spanish update video, I randomly off the cuff asked if you guys want me to go back and do a react to my original video from over a year ago, back before I actually started trying to do Dreaming Spanish. And in that video, I spoke about my thoughts about learning via this method before I had actually gone out and learnt via this method. And a bunch of you asked me to basically go back, do a react, see if my thoughts have changed in any way. So that's what we're going to do right now. Now, this is 23 minutes long, so I hope you're ready for a long one. What's up, grinders? So today... Okay, first up, let's kill that. Let's speed me up. I do not want to listen to me on normal speed because that would be annoying. And holy shit, was I fat back then. Look at that, bro. Bro, I was... What weight class were you in? Jesus, and look at your hair. What the fuck? You guys willingly watch this? God. See, now I've got the turtleneck. It hides all that.
Today we're going to do a review of
Oh, Jesus, this is quiet.
Time. Now, before we jump into the review, I've got a few things to say. Now, I'm actually seriously considering using Dreaming Spanish to learn Spanish for a number of reasons. The first one being that I often receive comments where people say, you haven't learned via CI, pure CI, so how can you talk as an authority on this? Despite the fact that I've done 390 hours of pure CI for Chinese. So I figure at the end of the day, after my hard Chinese grind, I might actually, I don't know why I said it like that, I might actually do 1 hour a day of Dreaming Spanish, and then a few years from now, I'll be able to talk as more of an authority on this because I would have learned a language without...
A few years from now? Bro, no, you started with like 50 hours, you're like, I know what I'm doing. And then you start dropping 50-hour updates. Yeah, waiting a few years, bro. There was no silent period when it came to critiques.
Anything else, simply using CI. Now, I am also well aware of the fact that this won't be a very valid test because I'm already very fluent in Esperanto. I speak English and I've dabbled with Latin, so this will pretty much be a cakewalk for me.
Pretty much a cakewalk. You poor Summer's child. Like, there was times that this was painful to get through. Yeah, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into.
Be a time investment overall. So why did I speak Spanish, or why did I pick Spanish as opposed to like a different language? Well, for one, Dreaming Spanish is right there. Like the whole website's built out. They've got like 790 hours of content ready to go. I don't have to think about this. I don't want to plan for this. This is not Chinese. I'm not going to actively like try too hard to do anything here because
see, I was doing it right. I'm not going to try. According to the automatic language growth methodology, ALG, on which Dreaming Spanish is based, you're not meant to try. I was in the right headspace from the very beginning.
This is not a language that I truly care about. This is more like a testing of the methodology. And I'm also...
Oh, by the way, that whole thing, that one statement, this is not a language I truly care about. Boy, oh boy, do people keep hounding on about that. Whenever I've got detractors and stuff, they're like, oh, well, he doesn't care about Spanish. That's why he sucks. No, I suck just because I'm bad at languages. No. But I do want to say that was true when I started. But now there's no way in hell, even if I stop this challenge, I would stop with Spanish. Like, I actually enjoy learning the language now. It is growing on me like a cancerous tumor at this point. Like, when did that all start? I'm not sure when it started. I think it probably started when I started doing gaming collabs with other YouTubers and stuff. It was probably at that point where I was like, yeah, you know what? I vibe with this shit. I like this shit. So I actually do enjoy learning Spanish now. Even though it all started as a challenge, I actually do enjoy the process.
I'm kind of just interested to see what it feels like to learn a language without actually putting in any active work at all. So why didn't I choose like a different language then? One where I'm not going to get some like inherent benefit. Well, people suggested Korean. I actually did 5 hours of Korean already.
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, Korean is a language that has like freaking no material for this style of methodology.
Various playlists for learning Korean via comprehensible input, but the people who are teaching it, they clearly don't know how to teach using this methodology, or at least they don't know how to teach it very well, because it was a struggle getting through those 5 hours.
And could you imagine if I went Korean, where we would be today? Well, technically, we would be halfway through the silent period, so I still would not be speaking. It would be a whole year yet before I would actually start speaking if I was doing Korean. But in a parallel universe somewhere, there's another evil deer out there, but he's doing Korean. For all you Korean lovers, those learning Korean right now, you're probably kicking yourself that you didn't go down in the comment section and be like, evil dear, no, don't do Spanish, do Korean. See, if you all signed up and subbed to the channel early on, that's what you should be doing, subbing right now, so that when I decide to start new challenges, you have an impact. You could have swayed me. We could have been doing Japanese right now, but no, this is all your fault.
Also, my Chinese helped quite a bit in some cases. So it wouldn't be a fair judgment anyway, because, for example, one number system is basically just like, because Korean has 2 ways of counting. Basically, one of the number systems is basically Chinese, just with some variants to it. And finally, this will take me from being trilingual to a polyglot. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I know that's a dirty word over here, polyglot. This is me just kind of making fun of it. You know, I kind of enjoy doing this because, you know, you've got those YouTube channels that really take this shit seriously. Like they join those hyper polyglot associations and they put the term hyper polyglot and shit in their title and stuff. So I kind of like to pick on this stuff.
Yeah, baby. So for me, this will be quite funny because obviously I speak English, Esperanto, and Chinese, but then I would speak finally one last language, and no longer just being a disgusting trilingual speaker, I can take the sacred right of calling myself a polyglot. And by doing that, I can then set on my path, my villain arc of selling you guys the most expensive, useless courses you can possibly imagine.
Oh, that's right. I still got to do that. Fuck. Man, I'm falling behind the game.
So watch me as I bend and become your worst enemy. No, I'm joking. Let's begin.
So far, I've cracked over 800. Oh, okay. I totally forgot that this was a react. So we're reacting to someone who at the time had 841 hours. Okay. I'm over 1K hours now. This is going to be interesting.
100 hours using Dreaming Spanish. Is it any good? Does it work? What can you expect at each level?
So I've done 1,000 hours of Chinese. This will be interesting to see.
Well, I've watched every single Dreaming Spanish video in the...
Wow, I'd only done 1,000 hours at that point. I'm at like 1,400 and maybe 50 or something hours now. I can't remember. So that just shows that Spanish literally took over my entire life. And you know why I think that happened? Because I definitely put way more hours into Spanish than I do Chinese, although now it's kind of evened out. Now we're doing about 2 hours per language. But I think what happened was I started my challenge. The challenge, you guys fucking love the challenge. And then I was like, okay, cool. So I kept doing it. And then I kind of discovered something about myself was that when I publicly commit to doing these types of challenges, it makes me more prepared to do this stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm, cause like I've got all you guys watching. So like I put in a lot more effort. And I think as a result, Chinese got pushed to the side, although I was doing a little bit every single day.
The Spanish from Spain, as well as an absolute ton of the Latin American ones too. So I'm going to walk you through the platform.
This is crazy that like all these videos that I'm seeing right now, I've watched all of them.
Sorry, I'm just looking at this, and obviously this is the Day of the Dead, but this brings back like almost sad memories for me because I almost convinced my wife for us to do a zombie wedding. Like I swear to God, she was on board until someone like from her friend said something, and then she was like all not on board anymore.
Missed fucking opportunity, man. I'm still pissed about that. We could have. You guys don't understand. Like we were literally. What's up, grinders?
Hey, wait a minute, wrong channel. Today we got something special for you. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I put a clip out and I was talking about should you speak first or should you wait first before you speak when learning another language? And then I went through my feelings on it and then what
Polyglot is a speaker for languages. Meanwhile, some Dutch farmer boy with Dutch. Polyglot is a speaker of 4 languages. Meanwhile, some Dutch farmer boys with Dutch, Frisian, Low German, Low Hungarian. Is it 4? I thought it's called multilingual, but I always thought if multilingual was 4, Polyglot's 5, and Hyper is 6, or some claim it could be 12. Honestly, you can get by and talk to people. You can pretty much consider a language known. Oh, unless you're a professional saying, then you might as well just say at least you speak 1 or 2. I think it's just overall normal. Honestly, I can debate that just polyglots in different scenarios. If you're polyglots in a travel sense, as in your everyday life, then maybe you could say that. But if you're in a work setting, completely different. Honestly, work environment, I'm probably like still like just English. But in real life, maybe 4? I have no idea. Frisian, German, Frocanian.
I did. But one of the people that I mentioned there was Evil Deer. Now, Evil Deer, Richard, has been doing 1,000 hours, or he passed the 1,000 hour mark of the ALG method learning Spanish. And I've been watching this since he started. And he has been following it to a T, to the system that they say that you shouldn't be speaking at all, just getting input based on Marvin Brown's theories. And then people reference Krashen as well. And then you see here in Thailand, this ALG system that many people talk about. And I can see why it was put together. And Marvin Brown, the guy who put this course together, is a genius. He's absolutely brilliant. But I don't know if I fully agree with all of the methodology. So I mentioned in my clip there that it was fascinating hearing the 1,000 hour mark.
La mejor serie de Martin Crack is
Of Evil Deer's Spanish, both looking at how he speaks the language and how whether or not these sounds of Spanish have gotten into his muscles.
¿Cuál es tu color favorito?
Verda, I think.
¿Verde? ¿Como este? ¿Verde?
Yeah. Yes.
But I also mentioned in the last clip that for me, one of the reasons why I do speak from the beginning is because I think that from very young, with very different languages that I spoke, and thanks to my grandfather, I got this auditory education, auditory, I guess, intelligence that allowed me to hear sounds agnostically. And so when I learn a language, I'm not just comparing to the sounds in my mother tongue. So Australian English, as you can hear, I'm able to sort of tweak and morph and listen out for things. And then I'll do everything I can to try and shift my mouth and then use a native speaker's ears as almost the mirror. Now, sometimes they don't know how to coach. That's okay.
Yeah, so I realized that even we listen so damn much, you still need to practice the speaking somehow. So she technically is in the class to trigger the speaking ability. So he is trying to trigger all the passive. So technically that is just one of the two ways. So he's doing it right. Is to shadow, or you can attend class and then trigger it real time. That's one way.
Know how to tweak my mouth, and then I'll keep doing things until it starts to feel more and more natural for them. So what I thought would be interesting is not only am I going to do that listening to Evil Deer's Spanish.
Yo familia tienes not hijas, it's brothers. I forgot what brothers is.
But I'm also going to, and
also that's giving me why I start speaking French.
And I don't want this to be a super, super long clip, but I'm going to look at how, if I were learning the way he was learning, but not with the ALG method, how would I approach this? What things would I be looking out for, both in the native speakers?
¿Qué más valoras de una
I'm so bad at telling which accent is from which country.
amistad? ¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
And then in my own voice. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the native Spanish and the things that I would notice. And then we're going to analyze Evil Deer's native English.
What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. I hope
He mentioned that he's learning Argentinian accent. If that's the goal, then I guess that's good.
you're ready for the 1,000-hour dreaming Spanish.
I wish I had oops, my. I honestly wish I have 1,000 hours of active. That'd be super nice. I don't know. I think everything he has is passive mostly. I'm guessing it's passive.
Update. We are up to video 21 in this series. Check this out.
And so here I've set up this in Audition. This is what I use when I do my speech analyses, especially for Thai and Chinese and stuff, where you can really look at the way that the mouth is used. Oh, by the way, yesterday I saw Evil Deer jumping here at crackinglanguage.com and looking to see what I had for Chinese. what you see here at crackinglanguage.com, I wanted to always build the ultimate tools that I would use for learning language and phonology and just articulation and stuff. So all of this stuff is free. They're tools that I've built. This one, you can see this is the Qieyun system for Chinese. Now, this is old Chinese.
Hey, Snorlax. Why, Snorbullax, welcome back.
To reap havoc when you're learning other languages, especially if you don't realize it.
It again and again, because I do hear that it sounds wrong.
Sounds. So sounds. It's still a diphthong. It's not too much of an in there, sounds, but it's still very forward. It's not like an ow, which you would have in Spanish, this ow further back.
I don't even know what he uses. Maybe he uses Language Reactor. I have no idea. I think Language Reactor is for only a small community knows about Language Reactor. Everyone I ask, I don't think only 10% even know that it exists.
Wrong. So that part is true.
Now, I notice also with Evil Deer, that part, now you hear that, but for some, with the way that wherever he grew up, the sound, so that, I guess mine's more middle, that, his is it's a little more forward, so it's that part.
Holy crap, okay. That's pretty much you doing it without the transcript. Seriously, without the transcript? Does Dreaming Spanish provide transcripts? There's no way. That'd be such a waste of time. You don't have the transcript at all. How does Dreaming Spanish work? Yes, you aren't supposed to read until like 6. I'm telling you now, that's a waste of time. Holy crap. Yeah, ironically, I follow the ALG, but I don't follow that ideology. ALG. Imagine not even able to look at the transcript. I'm such a big advocate looking at the transcript while you're listening, because you do need to create the neural links. So he's pretty much just listening without any links happening. There's no mediator to actually link the words and your actual language, native language together. So it's kind of a waste of time. What's the archives? There it is. So he did 1,000? I know. That's true. So you're telling me each level's 200 hours, so he did. So technically he's supposed to be at advanced claim. Wow. When speaking begins average 22 months. Wow. Technically he is starting to speak at 1,000. So in this case he's level 5, and level 5 is when you decide to start speaking. It is if the content is easy enough, I guess it'll be worth especially, but it's much slower than necessary. Yeah, just wait till you have to start listening to the native speaker. Like, can you understand what they're saying? Is the pain in the butt. No way.
Have a listen.
It sounds wrong. So that part is
That part, it's very forward. There might be some other specimens. I'm just picking random ones out, but these are things that we need to be aware of as Aussie native English speakers, because they're the things that are going to color whatever language it is that we're learning.
is true, but intonation
Is true. Now, okay, this was at the end, but this is another thing that happens with Australia.
Is he critiquing his English?
Down to an Let's see if
Estoy pensando.
estoy. If you have your throat closed, you can't pronounce an S. you can't breathe. So estoy, by nature, S's have this breath, this aspiration. And what's happened is this aspiration in Spanish, and it happened in Chinese too. This is actually where the qu sheng came from. So the originally Chinese didn't have tones. They had these endings, and
This
these
guy's highly respectable. His tie is insane the way it sounds. So he knows what he's talking about. I honestly don't care much about how I sound, but if you care about how you sound, then he definitely knows what he's talking about.
S became like an H first, and that's what became the qu sheng in Chinese. So estoy becomes estoy. Estoy. So sometimes you'll hear bits of this, sometimes you'll just hear the S totally dropped out, and just like this sound. Have a listen. He says estoy. See, it's almost like a lisp. Estoy. I wonder if Evil Deer will pick that up. Will have picked it up in all of his listening, and whether it will be replicated, or will his English or Esperanto S survive to live another day in his Spanish?
Pensando en hacer algunas preguntas.
So in hacer alguna pregunta, listen to the G, pregunta. It's very soft.
Que son interesantes.
Que son interesantes. Now you can tell here he's
been
very, very careful to enunciate everything. It's a native accent, but it's over enunciated. It is as if I'm speaking like this in English. That's a native Australian accent, but we don't really speak like that.
De responder.
Okay, this is fascinating. Have a look at this. Look at where he pronounced his D from. De. Now that could happen, but in Spanish, your D is more like this, the TH in the word the in English. So de. And you will see it there, tongue coming up to the teeth. There. But what he's doing there, and maybe he's overcompensating because Evil Deer, he knows he's a native English speaker, and he's trying to pronounce it as a very clear D. It's still Spanish, but in normal speech, that would be de responder. And sometimes the S will turn into an H. Have a listen.
De responder.
It's very, very overpronounced.
Y me interesa saber la respuesta.
Now you can see the S is getting lighter.
Por ejemplo.
¿Cuál
es el...
Now, this is one thing I would notice. Have a listen to this. If you're a native English speaker in Evil Deer, you can do it. Say the word pill, lip. Pill, lip. If you're a native English speaker, you'll notice that the L in pill, your tongue comes behind the teeth and kind of rolls up. Lip. If it's an initial L, your tongue is poking out of your teeth. Pill, lip. Evil Deer, you're a native English speaker in Australia. I could almost guarantee, if subconsciously, don't try and just prove it wrong, just speak normally and get your mouth moving normally. Pill. So where's your tongue? Behind the teeth. Lip. Where's your tongue? It's outside the teeth. But listen to the Spanish L. These are one of the things that I'll always try and pick up on in whatever language I'm learning, is where the L's and the R's coming from. And I can hear it is not the same as my pill L. Pill L. You can hear he's got this lateral tongue, and it's almost flat against his teeth. L. If you speak Russian, you've got this like the light L. It's closer to that, but it's not like the L that we have in English, especially in Australia. You can see his tongue.
Videojuego que más horas tenés.
It's a good baseline, but I'm feeling like he's really over-enunciating his Spanish. Now, there's another guy who's a native speaker that they go back and forth. Let's have a listen to him. Have a listen to his Spanish, even if you're not a Spanish speaker, and see if you can hear any difference.
¿Qué es lo que más valoras?
So he still pronounces his S's and everything very clearly.
De una amistad.
Okay. Now, did you hear that D? There. It was more of this, with a dental T, H with a voice. There. Very soft. De una amistad. And again, the T in amistad is a bit different too.
So I don't think he takes criticism lightly, but I don't know him well enough.
Because it's this medial T. It's not an initial T, which changes in Spanish for native speakers.
De una amistad.
And you could hear the tongue at the end in the D at de una amistad. And his tongue came up to this down.
Entre.
De. It was de.
Una amistad. De una amistad. De un amigo. De una relación entre amigos.
Okay, so he's just repeated it there, but you can hear his accent is a little more natural rhythms to the first one. I'm sure as the first guy gets into normal speaking, he will become more normal as well.
Yeah. Australia es como la versión tercer mundo de Inglaterra.
What he says is funny, but have a listen to this. Is the first guy again?
Okay.
Yeah.
Australia es como la versión tercer mundo de Inglaterra.
Tercera. But you can hear the T, tercera mundo. His tongue is starting to move closer to the teeth now.
Mundo de.
Now let's listen to the second guy.
¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
Okay, listen to that. This is starting to get very more natural compared to the first sentence.
¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
Especially at the end. Now, I don't know if Evil Deer even knows how to spell that last word, andado, but you can see that D almost just dropped out. Your tongue makes a reference to it, to the teeth. De andado. So de andado. So your tongue's on the te on the teeth, andado, and by the time it gets to the last D, it's just gone. If he's looking at the spelling, and a lot of like English speakers andado, and they'll be pronouncing this hard D. But you can see that as you get faster and faster, your tongue almost takes off and it's just sort of tickling the mouth, but doesn't quite make it there. Que te andado.
Es el mejor consejo que te han dado. ¿Cuál es el mejor consejo que te han dado?
Que te han dado.
Okay. 10 reasons why you should learn Thai. Really, Thai?
Get yourself a copy of Cracking Thai Fundamentals, Installing a Thai Operating System for Your Mind. If you live in Thailand, you can click in the link in the description below and I'll send a copy out to you via EMS. Otherwise, you can get it via Amazon if you're not in Thailand. Okay, so let's jump into them. The top 10 reasons why you should...
It's pretty gross. It's super gross. 请问 请问你都不用 Link 来练习听力和观看视频的吗？就是用来记录学习进度。对，我听力的时候，我只用YouTube 或是有关，然后我用那个 Language Reactor 的软件，然后给我一个机会理解所有的字幕。对，所以我不建议用 Link 但是如果 OK，link 没有区别，但是如果你有一个更有效的的方法，我建议就用YouTube，然后就下载 Language Reactor 帮助你就直接用一个很快的翻译。对，如果你从来没有尝试这个方法，我很建议你尝试这个方法。
Learn Thai. First, I think is the most simple and obvious is that you want to. You shouldn't feel obliged or that you're being forced into learning Thai. If you feel like you're being forced to learn Thai or it's that something that you have to do and you have any negative feeling towards having to learn Thai, well, then you shouldn't be learning it. And go back and look at yesterday's clip. But if you want to, well, then that's the main reason why you should be learning Thai. You need to have a want to learn the language. And if you want to, that's going to iron out all of those crumples, all of those hills that you're going to face as you're learning. And just the desire to learn is going to be the best way to plow through that. So number one, you got to want to learn the language. Number two, you learn who people really are. I think I've mentioned in other clips over the years that I'll always try to speak to people in their mother tongue if I can. Maybe that's a little bit selfish, but if my language is up to it, I'll always try and revert to somebody else's mother tongue when I'm speaking with them, because through how they use the language, the idioms, how they articulate the language, their elocution, the way they use the language and the way they speak, somebody will really show who they are when they're speaking their mother tongue. Now, some people are perfectly bilingual, but that's not the majority. So generally, I will want to learn Thai so that I can really find out who people are. And you get to know that. As soon as they're speaking, say, through English and it's not their mother tongue and they're not that strong in English that they could have a discussion on philosophy or what's going on in the world to a really deep level, well, then they've got a filter on who they are. So I want to learn Thai so I can learn who people really are. Number three, if you're looking to do business in Thailand, through learning Thai, you are removing the necessity to have intermediaries. Very often when people come here to do business, both in their own companies and then when they're working with clients and even with different government bodies, what will happen is that you'll be supplied an intermediary. Now, maybe you've stepped into a company and they have an HR department, or you've got a secretary that's been given to you, a PA, or you're going to visit a client and they will have the person that's there as your interpreter. And you got to understand that everybody has their own motivations, everybody has their own agendas. And so if you are relying on other people to be that buffer of communication all the time, well, that's going to be an issue. And you won't really understand what's really going on the ground. So through being able to speak Thai and understand, and now some people say, oh, I can understand what's going on. But then you're hitting a different level. If you can really speak it, and you can start to dig in and get to hear people's feelings, why they feel this way and that way, and they can speak to you, and it's a two-way dialogue, not just you eavesdropping, well, that is worth gold in business. And so I want to learn the language so I can cut out all of those middle people and get straight to the heart of what's going on in business. Number four, in your family life, very often people who come here, they may meet a local, whether you meet a husband, a wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever it is. I want to be able to communicate with them as them. And very often somebody comes in here and they will have, again, English, very similar to the business situation. And English may be the lingua franca at home that they speak, but then you are possibly getting a very thin veneer of who that person really is. And on the flip side, I think I've mentioned it before, when I first came out with this book about 10 years ago, and I was doing a book tour down in Pattaya, actually, at one of the expat clubs, and one of the wives of somebody there came up to me and said, "Phlangรู้มากไม่ดีนะ." Phlang, Westerners, white Caucasians, who know too much isn't good. And she was dead serious. What she meant was, is that I guess that she's got a whole lot of stuff that she and her families or her girlfriends or whoever it is talk about in front of their husband. And if their husband actually knew what was going on, maybe the game would be up, the jig would be up. And so ฝรั่งรู้มากไม่ดี for some people. But in any case, I don't think most people have sinister intentions, and many Thais would be happy that their partner spoke their own language. But it's a really important thing. Our base language at home is Thai. Our daughter, when she was born, we try and use English with her, but she also knows that we all speak Thai. And so she will sometimes respond in Thai, usually English, but to my wife and to everybody else at home, our base language is generally Thai, and it's really good. You can just get straight to the heart of everything with everybody in the household and not have to rely on only the people that speak English. I will say one thing, and that is if you started a relationship in English, it's actually very difficult to switch it to Thai or to whatever language. So
having the ability to eavesdrop is like super useful. Like super useful.
You move to China or Japan and switch that from English to Thai or to Chinese or to Japanese. Usually, whatever the relationship started in, it will continue like that unless something big happens. And so sometimes you're going to actually have to make a conscious switch to switch over the languages. And for some people, that's super uncomfortable because your identity to that person is the language that you're speaking to them. And then all of a sudden, when you're speaking their own language with them, it's kind of like you're becoming a different person, and maybe you can't speak as deeply on the things you want to speak about. So you've got to be ready for that and give some leeway too. Maybe the shift to using Thai in the family all the time is going to be too much of a pill to swallow for your spouse or for the family. So just be delicate with that one. It is a thing. Let me know in the comments below whether you've experienced anything like this. Number 5, independence in the real world. If I have to go to do anything with any government agency, in a bank or with a labor ministry or any legal form, I will go and I will be able to write and read and fill out everything by myself. If I need to ask something, I can ask by myself, but I never have to take somebody with me to help me. And so that means on the flip side too, that I'm responsible for everything that I write down, but it's really good discipline and it gives me my independence here. I couldn't imagine having to rely on somebody every time I had to do something. And I know some people that actually hire legal firms to do things that are just the simplest forms to fill out. And they end up paying sometimes hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions of baht to do things that you could do yourself if you spoke Thai and you could actually fill out all of the paperwork yourself. So you get independence in living here from, I guess, an administration level. Number 6 is an interesting one. Whether it's in the workplace or just in general social life, you reduce the burden on the Thai people around you. Now, what does that mean? My wife and I, very often on Friday or Saturday, will be thinking, well, let's call somebody over here for a dinner party, or we'll go out somewhere and meet somebody. And then we have to think of who we're going to invite. Now, the problem is that most of our friends are Thais. We have a big circle of foreign or expat friends as well. And there's a small, if this were a Venn diagram, there would be this crossover of the foreigners that are actually competent in Thai. And we have to choose. Supposing we've thought, oh yeah, let's go and see these people, and we'll invite them to no, this person doesn't speak Thai, and then these people will feel uncomfortable because they'll feel like they have to speak in English and they can't speak about the stuff that they want, or they can't joke around and be the person who they are. And so then we have to change the guest list, or we have to eliminate people. On the other hand, if we actually do invite them, it gets super uncomfortable because they're sitting there and either one of 2 things happens, or actually 3 things. The first is that the non-Thai speakers are just sitting there oblivious to everything that's going on in Thai with an awkward smile, and you feel really bad. They'll feel bad. And some of the other Thais may feel bad. Some won't, and they'll just go on. Or the other way around, everybody will switch to English. And because Thais will have different levels of English, people who may usually be the most raucous all of a sudden become a different person because they can't be that person in English. And so they tone themselves down, and the whole conversation is basically geared to that one person in the group who can't speak Thai, or maybe it's a couple of people, but it becomes a burden. The other thing that happens is that for everything that gets said, and then somebody's like a dedicated translator, and then, you start having to translate jokes and things that just won't communicate culturally wise, and it just becomes awkward. So if you don't want to be a burden on the people around you, well, then learn Thai, and then you can just mix in with your Thai friends, with your expat friends, or have these people that speak together. We have a circle of foreign friends that are totally fluent in Thai. When we're all together with Thais, it's fantastic. We just speak in Thai, and everybody has a great time. Number 7, you get to belong to the place you live. Have you ever, as a foreigner, been in Thailand and you have the conversation, they see you're a foreigner? Hello, do you like Thailand? Do you eat spicy food? Do you like the pretty Thai girl? And they go on and on. You have these like standard stock conversations that get shot at you because they assume that you're a foreigner, you're alien. And what I have found, despite the way I look, if language and the right prosody is stated at the beginning, or you just speak normally and they just feel natural, doesn't matter how you look, matters how you sound and whether they feel that you're going to get them. And that means you're going to understand the idioms, the background, the in-jokes that Thais would have when they start speaking. If they feel that, well, then you'll get to fit right in and they'll speak to you like a normal person. And so if you want to feel like you're not an alien, even walking to 7-Eleven or anywhere, and you're just part of the local environment, well, then learn Thai. 9. Now, this is an interesting one for me from a linguistic perspective, and that's why I put my site, crackinglanguage.com, together. Thai is the most amazing language system, both in the writing, the tones, and everything. And because we have this writing system that's based on Sanskrit, but it also accounts for the tones and the alphabet in Thai, or the abugida, is actually a map of the human mouth, which was developed by these Indian linguists 3,000 years ago. But it's been adapted for tones and tonal languages, which is the same engine that Vietnamese, Chinese, all Chinese dialects, and Burmese runs on all of these tonal languages. I'm not saying the tones are the same, but the engine, what's happening and why the tones are there in this map. If you want to know more, go into crackinglanguage.com and you'll see all the tools that I built out, which will help you learn that system. But Thai is this beautiful balance where every single word, every single syllable is basically a language lesson. It's how to pronounce something, why the tone is there. You understand what your mouth is doing, and the tone is a byproduct of it. So you're basically reading this map to language through reading the Thai language. And once you really understand this system, it sets you up to learn Chinese, Vietnamese, other tonal languages, as well as Sanskrit and other Indo-European languages. You'll see in my continent compass, I even have Russian in there, and you'd be amazed. Many of the sound rules and the spelling rules for Russian actually align with the tone rules because it's all based on the human mouth and sounds and how they fit together. And the Thai language is this beautiful vessel that delivers all of that within the Thai language system. That's the speaking, the reading, and the writing. So learn it. And if you want to learn how that links in, get a copy of Cracking Thai Fundamentals and jump into crackinglanguage.com. Crackinglanguage.com is totally free. You can use all the stuff in there, eat your heart out. Finally, and I guess this is similar to a point earlier, but people will speak to you as a human, not a foreign object. And I think I've mentioned in previous clips, when I co-hosted a TV show years ago now for Channel 5 and JSL, and I had my co-hosts there and JSL was in there. We were working out how the dynamics would be, how the chemistry would be. I put one condition down. One main condition is that I didn't want them to refer to me as the foreign monkey. And very often you'll see that if you live here in Thailand, you probably know what I'm talking about. They'll have foreigners who speak Thai there, and it's so cute. Or
I guess it makes sense because if you're speaking the native language to the best, then you pretty much treat you like an actual human, which sucks. Or pretty much they'll switch to English. But Thailand, not many people speak English, so they have no choice but to attempt to understand your broken Thai. I'll learn Thai while as a theoretical linguist. Why Icelandic? Latin. Honestly, that's more of a hobby at this point. Even to be a linguist, learn Mandarin. Shoot, like you pretty much get all in one. You get every challenge from Mandarin except Korean, Japanese grammar.
They're almost there as an ornament, but not as anything really to listen to the point of view. And I did not want that. I wanted to just be another one of the hosts on the TV show. So I said, look, great, we can do this. Just do not refer to me as the Falang or just as anything alien. Let's just speak normally and see how it goes. Now, in order to do that, it was great. They came in and they gave me coaching on my delivery and my presenting, as any Thai TV presenters will have to do as well, which was fantastic learning for me. And the result was great. We never alluded to the Falangness, even though you look at me and you can hear that I'm not a native speaker, but the natural prosody of the language is there. And we just spoke to each other normally, and I wasn't an alien. And for me, living here, this is my home. That meant a lot. And I think for a lot of people here, if you're choosing Thailand to be your home, you don't want to feel like an alien here. And being able to develop real prosody in the language. When I say prosody, it's the natural rhythms in the language. You can learn the words, you can learn the grammar, you can learn to read and write, but you will still be alien. It's only when you really train and get into the rhythm of the language and that software, that operating system that's running in here, that you'll start to really fit in. And some people say, oh, but you're never going to be Thai. Yeah, but you can get close.
Yeah, I get a lot
and
like the base
people
and
will accept you in. They won't tweak then for your foreignness. They'll just speak to you normally and life will go on. And so you're getting somewhere if they start not commenting about you being the foreigner and they just speak to you normally. So for me, reducing that alien factor of your existence in Thailand is a huge motivator for developing really good high-level Thai language skills. So there you go, 10 reasons why you should learn Thai. Remember, learning Thai is not just learning words.
Are you still there, Len? Okay. Check out this. I started Thai about the same time. 240 videos. Beginner 1. I'm so depressed. I worked with Jay. I can write Thai. I can read it somewhat, but my speaking comprehension skills are just as abysmal despite hundreds of hours of study. I will continue since I do live here, but it's daily 2 times 4 to the head how slow it's going. Holy crap, 240 videos? I guess his first problem is he's writing, I guess. Like this will slow him a lot already. Read it somewhat. Honestly, reading Thai is like super complicated the way it looks. There's no way. Ooh, I wouldn't know how to tackle Thai. Thai is a whole different. You need a whole different strategy for that. General concepts the same, but strategy. Ooh. Because you're starting from 0, right? Even if you learn the alphabet, the way they combine the words is so complicated. Are you studying Mandarin now, or you have to eat dinner soon? I'm guessing. Because I'm probably gonna end the stream like in 10 minutes or something. I actually have a meeting in 30 and 40 minutes. So I have to do that, and then afterwards I'll be back most likely at the same time like yesterday. Oh, this language is so complicated. Doing Mandarin at a very slow pace. Is it because I'm distracting you, or meeting sounds exciting? Meeting? Oh, you're in a meeting right now? I'm willing letting myself be distracted. You ever try learning through your eyes? As in, do you sub-vocalize when you learn Mandarin? you learn how to remove the sub-vocalization. I think you can do a lot with that, because you can actually study while listening to other people. I mean, your meeting, the one you just mentioned. Oh yeah, it's not that exciting because it's about unemployment. So I had to meet with them to satisfy the things. Like I need to attend a workshop so that they'll continue paying me for the next 4 months. I have about 4 months worth of unemployment. Here it's kind of bad because I know in Europe you guys have better unemployment treatment. They treat you a lot better, and they take care of you more, I assume. Here we have 6 months worth of survival unemployment funds.
It's word list, Anki deck.
Wow. Thai. I guess good question. Do you need Thai? You live in Thailand? Yeah. The least.
Do I need to learn Thai to live in Thailand? Short answer, no. But the real question is, should you learn Thai if you're deciding to live in Thailand, or at least spend a bit of time here in Thailand? That entirely depends on what you're looking to get out of Thailand, what your background is, and how you want to experience your time in the kingdom. First of all, you might be in shock. There's no green screen background, and this is a very different look. I'm trying some different things. You might have noticed I haven't posted a lot lately. I'm trying to put a setup where I can just...
Pretty much. I don't get any more funds. It's pretty bad. And the amount of money they give you isn't much, so living with parents definitely helps a lot, because you only have enough to live as like a very lonely man. Like you pretty much eat cup of noodles, and you don't pretty much have much insurance or anything. Here it's like hardcore mode for survival. So I know Europe you guys get a lot better treatment, but you guys get taxed higher than we do.
Switch on and shoot, and I really want to put more content out more regularly and not having to edit out.
I really gotta learning through my eye. Yeah, try look at the concept of speed reading and how does it work, and that'll probably help you a lot, save you time.
Green screens and things. So let me know what you think. Green screen, no green screen. I'm open to suggestions. Now, you might think it's crazy that I'm saying, no, you don't need to learn Thai. After all, like I put this tome together. It's like a brick, cracking Thai fundamentals, a Thai operating system for your mind. So surely wouldn't I think that everybody needs to learn Thai? Reality is most foreigners who come here and live in Thailand, or even just visit Thailand, never ever develop any real competency in the language. Many of them I find, even who have been here for many years, do this burst of learning in maybe the first few weeks that they're here. And then that just sits and stagnates throughout their entire existence in Thailand, not really getting any better. And so do they actually need to speak Thai? Well, the fact that they can live here for so long and not be able to speak Thai or speak very bad Thai is proof that actually you don't need Thai to live in Thailand. There are hundreds of thousands of foreigners living here. Now, when I say foreigners, here people divide into expats and non-expats, and it's a bit controversial what that is. But you have, say, the expat community, and these are all where you have the chambers of commerce. You've got people who may be over here just working for a company, or they're from Europe, from the US, from the UK, from Australia. And this is the expat community. And I find very, very, very few of these expats develop really good Thai skills. And why is that? Probably because they don't need to use it. Many of them are here working. Their work, they use English. Many of them are working for global companies, or they're working in a role where they have to work in English or some other language that's not Thai. And so it's just not needed. Their day-to-day work, they're not using the language. The Thais that they're working with speak to them in English, or some people might work for a French company or a Chinese company, so they're speaking to them in those languages. And if they need to get any of this admin kind of work done, well, they have a Thai team that can go and be that buffer for them. When they're meeting Thai clients, well, they've got Thai teams to buffer them from those as well. And so they're almost living in this situation where they're buffered from all things Thai, and they're not in a position to learn Thai. They don't have the luxury of the time. So they go for several months, turns into a year, turns into several years. They may even get married. They get married to somebody who can speak English, and so they don't need to learn Thai then. And they have their entire existence in English or whatever language it is, and they don't need to learn Thai. And even if you talk to these people, they might go to events and they might have some Thai friends, but you'll notice a certain demographic of Thais that mix with the international community, and they speak English, they communicate in English, and so they can interface very deceptively. Sometimes they can actually morph into this international version of themselves. But what I've found is when you actually see these same people, when they're in a Thai setting, they'll become very Thai. The things that they speak about when they're with their international friends and circles are very different to the way that they would speak just with their Thai friends. And it's just a very, very different world living in Thailand compared to living in Thailand but not being able to speak Thai. You're very limited to who you can speak. And you get out of Bangkok or the big cities where you have expat communities, and it changes very fast. And many foreigners, say they get married to somebody and they go and live up country, they find themselves very isolated if they can't speak Thai. So do you need to speak Thai to live here? No, you don't. Should you? Well, again, if your job is dependent on you speaking not Thai, well, maybe you shouldn't learn Thai, because the reality is, to be able to speak Thai properly, you're going to have to put in time. People see the languages that I speak and they said, oh, you might be just gifted in languages, or I just got back from the Polyglot conference in Taiwan. And many of the people there speak many languages up to very good levels where they work professionally in them. And they think, oh, you're just gifted at language. The reality is that to develop the level of language that, say, I have in Thai or Chinese or Indonesian or these other people who are very competent in other languages, it might look like it comes out easily, but we actually put in the hours. You wouldn't believe how many hundreds and actually thousands of hours. It takes a long time to actually get to the point where you can function normally in the language, whether it's Thai or it's Chinese or whatever the language is, where you're just feeling normal. And so if your job doesn't allow you to have that luxury of time, or if your family life after your job doesn't allow you to do that, well, maybe you shouldn't learn Thai. Because what happens is people start learning, they realize that actually, whereas in English, the scope of accents that you hear speaking English varies a lot. The levels of English vary a lot. And we can understand a lot of different backgrounds, different levels of English, and we don't even think that much about it. But in Thai, you need to speak well because there's not that big a bandwidth of accents or delivery in the language that will be accepted as normal. And if something sounds just a little bit off, we say just a little bit ne or pien in Thai, well then people say, huh, what did you say? I didn't understand you. You might think it's the tones. You might think it's the vowels. Surely they understand what I said. But very often, because it's not natural to hear that, Thais won't understand. The learner gets upset, disheartened, and they give up. And so they have that bad experience with the language, which for some people ends up with them being jaded. And so if you don't have the time to really put in and the internal fortitude to be able to really be out there, put it out there, and be willing to speak, even though maybe you're going to be disheartened, and just push through it. Learn to read because the entire tone and sound systems in the reading and writing, and so much of what Thais speak about is based in what's written. You send text messages to each other, you do it in Thai. And so if you can't live in the Thai language, well, maybe, yeah, it might be disheartening, and you can communicate better and live a better life without learning Thai. The other thing is, you look in the diplomatic circles, why when there's a high-level government meeting, do ambassadors or presidents bring their interpreters with them? Very often when they can speak the local language, a lot of the time it's because they want to come across as competent and as knowledgeable, and basically reveal who their personality is through the language that they use, and they do that best through their mother tongue. And so say you're in business, as soon as you start using a second language, the level of your language, that becomes an impediment to you being able to show the full you. And so if you're in a position where you have to say, show power, show leadership, show authority, but your language level is going to limit you, well, maybe it's not a good idea to use the local language in that circumstance. Now, I've seen disasters where you've seen some foreigners, they learn Thai in the bar with bar girls, which is already a level of Thai that may be looked down upon by normal Thais that you're doing business with, and they go and use it in the business context, and they totally lose face, and they lose the respect of the Thais that they're supposed to be doing business with and getting respect from. And so in those cases, it's much better to not use Thai and to speak and say English or whatever the language, the base language is that you're using, and come across as the level that you're supposed to, rather than sabotaging that for you. So I know, me, the author of the book that is trying to get everyone to speak Thai, saying you don't actually need to learn Thai, but that's the truth. If you do want to learn to speak Thai, I would say do it wholeheartedly. Of course, get a copy of Cracking Thai Fundamentals, link in the description below. But get in there, build circles of Thais around you, not just inter-Thais, and learn from them. Get into the writing, learn to read, to write, get out there and use Thai as Thais would. Get your prosody, that's natural rhythms of the language, so that you can start to really use Thais as Thais do, and you're going to enjoy a very different experience in Thailand. Maybe I'll do another clip on that, on all of the benefits of speaking Thai. But today's clip, ironically, is why you probably don't need to speak Thai when living in Thailand. Let me know your experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, subscribe, get your copy of Cracking Thai Fundamentals. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you on the other side.
guys have to end it here, but thanks Lens for chatting, but I gotta end it here. So have a good day.